Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Simone Biles and the U.S. women's gymnastics team has won gold at the Paris Olympics. The Orioles on this MLB trade deadline day with an injury-plagued rotation acquired lefty Trevor Rogers from Miami for infielder Connor Norby and outfielder Kyle Stowers. Yankees half-game back of AL East leading Baltimore got bullpen help, picked up reliever Mark Leiter Jr. from the Cubs for 2 minor leaguers. Yankees righty Garrett Cole scratched from tonight's start in Philadelphia with general body fatigue. Will Warren starts in his place. As the Steelers quarterback competition continues, Russell Wilson back from the calf injury for the first padded practice. He and Justin Fields each completed all their attempts today. The starting job is likely Wilson's, says ESPN NFL insider Field Yates.
My feeling is that the Pittsburgh Steelers will begin the season with Russell Wilson, assuming both are healthy, under center. Mike Tomlin dug his heels in too deep, and he's got too much cachet and the ability, frankly, to say, I'm going to do what I want.
Field Yates on Carlin versus Joe. Jets QB Aaron Rodgers coming back from a torn Achilles, unlikely to play this preseason.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Wednesday, we continue our ESPN Rankem series with my top 5 MVP candidates. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You, sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplate. All right. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Billy Embody pinch hitting for Shea Dixon in 15 minutes. LSU transfer pitcher Connor Benge next hour. Ross Jackson here in hour 3. Ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Day 6 of Saints camp, and man, it seems like every single day there's just another name to add to the injury list. Thankfully, so far, none of them appear serious. That's the great news. Look, it's football, it's physical, guys are running around, and you're going to have nicks and bumps and bruises and injuries. It happens. You just want to make sure everybody's good for the start of the season. And you got a month between now and the start of the season, and you know, some of these guys we're talking about probably weren't even going to be super active in preseason games, so just be ready to go for the start of the season. But when you continue to hear names like Kendre Miller and Brian Brzee and guys that you know you're going to count on, it gets a little concerning. Marshawn Lattimore. Well, today you can add another one to the list as Chris Olave left the field after what was described sort of as an awkward fall. Here was Dennis Allen.
I think he just landed on his hip, but I mean, it's hip, and that's really about all I got right now.
So hip injury for Chris Olave. Hopefully nothing serious. It's so interesting, though, because whenever you do have a player leave camp for whatever reason, right, injury or whatever, it does open up reps and opportunities for other players. So obviously with an injury to Nick Saldivari at left guard, that's opened the door for Lucas Patrick really to feel like he's taken a hold at that left guard spot. With Marshawn Lattimore out, huge opportunity for Kool-Aid McKinstry to take reps with the ones here early in camp. With Chris Olave out, everybody sort of bumps up on the wide receiver depth chart. And we don't know how long it's going to be. I'm not trying to overstate this. It's just sort of an open door to talk about the receiver room. And it's one where we have had an awful lot of intrigue because after Olave and Rashid Shaheed, what really do you have? I had a listener send me a message and said, hey, Matt, would you take over/under 500 receiving yards for A.T. Perry and Bub Means combined? And I had to stop and think about it a bit because if you look a year ago, of course, Chris Olave was a 1,000-yard receiver. He had 1123. After that, Rashid Shaheed went over 700 yards. And then Michael Thomas was your next leading receiver at 466. That's not of your wide receivers. Kamara was at 456. 466. Thomas was at 448. So, point is, your next leading receiver was Michael Thomas, sub 500. Do you think the combination of A.T. Perry and Bub Means could get over 500 yards? I'm pretty bullish on A.T. Perry. Like, I loved when they picked him, and I think he's got a really high ceiling, and he flashed late in the season last year, even in limited reps. A.T. Perry played in just 10 games for you. He was only targeted 18 times, but a dozen catches for 246. He averaged 20 and a half yards a reception. I don't think he would maintain that over the course of a full season, but the point is, yeah, I think if you double his targets, which is certainly reasonable, could you see A.T. Perry get over 500 yards receiving? Yeah, I do think that's possible. But how does this continue to play out with the receivers will be interesting, and other guys will obviously have more reps now with Chris Olave on the men. We'll follow that. Ross Jackson will be here in hour number 3, as he is all throughout Saints camp, to give us our Saints camp reports. So we'll see if we do have any update when Ross is here in a couple of hours from right now. One other thing that was newsworthy today out of Saints camp. Coming into camp, one of the big stories was Alvin Kamara's contract. We've talked about it plenty here, and you know my feelings on it. Kamara is approaching 30. He's seen declining production the last 3 years, and he has no leverage. He's got zero guaranteed money on his deal for next year. If you're the Saints, there's no reason to jump into a deal when you don't have to. And if you remember, Kamara, when he met with reporters before camp, had this to say about his contract.
Just for me to set the record, I'm not asking for nothing. I'm not asking for nothing crazy where it's like, oh my gosh, we can't do that. You know, well, that's my perception of it. Whatever the perception is upstairs with whoever makes those decisions, it's obviously different than what my perception is. So, you know, we just carry on. I got to just do what I do, not focus on what I got to do.
So for whatever it's worth, you heard Kamara say whoever upstairs makes that decision, meaning in the front office. Well, Mickey Loomis is the general manager, and Loomis gave an interview on SiriusXM NFL Radio where he did talk about the Kamara situation. Now, this is a bit of a long answer, but he starts by kind of giving some context around conversations like this with players and their contracts, and then punctuates the answer with a specific about Kamara.
Here's one thing that I've recognized over the years. Your contract, whether it's mine or yours or a player's, that's personal to them. And for the team or the business, it's business. And so we have to keep in mind that these are personal issues and they become emotional. And even though there's an agent in between, a lot of times you don't know, is the agent communicating it exactly the way you intended? And I'm not saying that they are or aren't. I'm just saying you don't know that. And so I try to keep that close to the vest and not discuss it. I let the players speak for themselves. And I thought, you know, Alvin did a great job the other day. He wants to be with the Saints. That's who he wants to play for, and I appreciate that, and I want him to play for us. And I think eventually this will just work out.
That last line there, I think, is probably the one that's most important. I think eventually this will just work out. Now, there is a report from Albert Breer over at SI that the Saints have a contract on the table for Alvin Kamara. And that this sort of coincides with the words there from Mickey Loomis. Now, I can't help but wonder how long that contract has been on the table. And if there is, in fact, a contract on the table for Alvin Kamara, and Kamara hasn't agreed to it and is still waiting to see or waiting to get that number that he says isn't outrageous, as you heard him say there, well, then you wonder, are the two sides just at an impasse? There have been notable situations like this with the New Orleans Saints, where the Saints have had their number. That is the line they won't cross. They dig in their heels, and that's it. A couple of very notable ones in recent memory were Mark Ingram, who, of course, Ingram and Kamara were a really good thunder and lightning 1-2 punch, and Ingram became a free agent, ended up signing with the Ravens, and we later learned that the deal that he ultimately got with the Ravens was only $200,000 more than what the Saints were offering. Like, for that amount of money, when you're talking about agents' fees and taxes, it's negligible. Like, he should have been a New Orleans Saint, but they hit an impasse. Same thing happened with Marcus Williams and the decision not to pay Trey Hendrickson. I mean, we've been down this road before, and the Saints have their number, and they don't go over it. And it's so odd because of how irresponsible they are with the way they structure deals. But when it comes to the actual dollar amounts of paying contracts, they have the value that they're willing to invest in a player, and that's it. So I wonder if they're at an impasse with Kamara. If they've offered that deal and Kamara still hasn't taken it, maybe the two sides' viewpoint of what is fair is far enough apart to where they don't get this done, at least not here during the season, or before the season. I'd love to see Alvin Kamara finish his career in the black and gold, but it has to make financial sense. You're not paying the player for what he's done. You're paying the player trying to project for what he will do over the life of that contract. It's hard to do with Alvin Kamara right now. See if you can stay healthy, have a really productive year, and then maybe the Saints extend him. Or maybe Kamara takes the deal that reportedly is on the table. All right, it's after further review. Our show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. Y'all, we got football on Thursday. Hall of Fame game Thursday. Excited for it. If you're going to be kicking back in your favorite chair and watching that Hall of Fame game just because it's football on TV, make sure you got plenty of ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, and the official beer of us right here at AFR. Oh, by the way, Bud Light is the official beer of the UFC. You know that as well. And we are planning another watch party. Stay tuned. We'll have more details for you coming up shortly. But we're planning another watch party for UFC 305 on Saturday, August 17th. So we'll give you details when we have them. We're going to have a VIP event like we did the last time. Very much looking forward to it. We'll give you deets as soon as they're all locked in. But, of course, drink easy with great taste of Bud Light. All right, y'all, let me knock out a quick break. Come back. Gigantic recruiting weekend with the Bayou Splash this past weekend. LSU popped a rising interior offensive lineman. They've missed out on a safety prospect they were targeting, but they've offered an in-state safety for 25. We got a lot of ground. Khalik Lockett, 5-star wide receiver, has set his commitment date. We got a lot of ground to cover, and Billy Embody will join us next. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouses, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouses.com. Rouses.com. Hey, man, it's Tuesday. You're heading home. You need to pop on into the grocery, get a few things before you head home. Rouses, they're everywhere. There's 70 locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach and points in between. Notice this morning, and we only have one K-Cup left for our Keurig. I make coffee every morning. Better believe, pop into Rouses, grab that. If it's that, maybe there's a whole bunch of things that you can't wait to the weekend before you do your big shopping run. Maybe you need a few things here or there. Remember, if you pull up the Rouses app, you're looking to save time, pull up the Rouses app, select your items, your personal shop-up will go pick them out. As long as your order's over $35, that is a free service as long as your order is over $35. You pull up into one of the spots, they bring it out to you. It saves you time. It's super convenient. It's at Rouses, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Always encourage you to check out social media and their weekly ad on the app and online to see how you can save when you go shop over at Rouses. Rouses.com. Rouses. This feels like home.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
rolling along. Glad you're with us here. Connor Benge in 1 hour. You might remember he's one of the right-handed pitchers that LSU signed in this transfer portal class. Looking forward to that. Speaking of recruits, massive recruiting event this past weekend for LSU, the Bayou Splash. Our buddy Billy Embody on 3. Good enough to pinch hit for Shea Dixon here this week, the vacationing Shea Dixon. Billy, we appreciate you, man. How are you?
Doing well, guys. How are you?
Doing awesome. Hey, big picture, 10,000-foot overview of the Bayou Splash. What were the biggest takeaways?
The big takeaway is LSU was swinging for some of their top targets here late. I mean, they have so much of their class kind of done in a sense. I mean, they'll still have a chance to add, numerous guys into the fold. They had Aiden Anding, Rustin defensive back, on campus for a visit. They had 5-star wide receiver Jamie French on campus for a visit. Had some other targets as well, but comparatively to last year, when they closed with guys like Dominic McKinley and Gabriel Relaford, and were going after Colin Simmons and players like that, they really have a lot of their top commits locked in and coming through to hang out again with the staff, and that was kind of the vibe. And then 2026, it was a good opportunity to lay the groundwork, even more so for some of those guys that maybe haven't been on campus as much as others. And so it's a different vibe. You're in a good situation with one of the best classes already in the country, rather than trying to make some waves heading into the fall, close with what ended up being a top 5 class.
Jalen Chapman is one of those prospects that committed, offensive lineman out of Warren Easton in New Orleans for 2026. What can you tell us about him, Billy?
Yeah, I think he's kind of a prototypical center prospect, and Warren Easton is one of the top producing talent programs in the state of Louisiana. Another thing with Jalen is I expect him to be a leader in that 2026 class. He's one of the guys that is very active in the state, working out, getting out, and building relationships across the class. And so Brad Davis and Frank Wilson really liked him early on, and they prioritized him. He actually had an offer very early on last summer, and so this has kind of been building. And lo and behold, he hit me up and said, "Hey, just letting you know, got done with my visit, and I'll be going public with a commitment here." And he did just that to kick off the week. So that was a nice addition for LSU to get him in the fold and keep building in the trenches, because Brad Davis just keeps recruiting. It seems like one class ahead of the game. And so to get him on board just continues to show the work Brad Davis, Frank Wilson is doing in New Orleans. And this is a nice pickup for LSU and a guy they can develop into a center for the future.
One of the things, Billy, right or wrong, that people look at this, oh, well, he's a 3-star, 6'2", 265 is where he's listed. Can you kind of walk us through, especially this early in the recruiting process for a guy that's a rising junior, what we should, if anything, make of that rating and ranking right now?
Yeah, for right now, the big thing that we try to do as ranking services is we don't want to necessarily overdo it on a guy's ranking early. We'd rather be building guys up, and naturally there's going to be a top 100. There's going to be an initial list of the guys that are viewed as very, very, very talented prospects. And Jalen is, as an offensive lineman, somebody that you can expect to continue to add strength, continue to add mass. And so his ranking could very well rise, over the coming months and, 2 more seasons of high school football. So offensive linemen are tricky. If they don't jump out at you like Jackson Cantwell, who's a 6'7", 315-pound 5-star who LSU had on campus this past weekend, there are going to be guys that maybe take a little bit more time to see their ranking go up relative to the rest of the class, where you see some of these behemoths that are very well known early on as highly touted prospects. And, we see some of those highly touted guys, we see the other guys catch up to them, whether it be just growing older, getting stronger, showing their athleticism in different settings. But yeah, that's kind of the way to view it. He had offers from, I believe, Alabama, USC, Oregon, all over the country. So he's a highly thought of prospect in his own right for sure.
Billy Embody, on 3 the Bengal Tiger. He's on Twitter at Billy Embody. Let's talk about the safety position. So Anquan Fagans is a guy that was at the Bayou Splash. Correct me if I'm wrong. It seemed like maybe there were some good vibes there. He ends up picking Auburn, and then LSU turns around and offers Jacob Bradford out of Catholic High in Baton Rouge. Let's take those one at a time. What happened there with Fagans, and is the Bradford offer a response to Fagans ultimately picking Auburn?
Yeah, with Anquan Fagans, he's been on LSU's radar since the prior defensive staff. He's visited multiple times. There was some buzz early on that LSU was going to be positioned, to be right there for him at the end. But over the past really 6 months, it become apparent that he was going to probably end up at Auburn in the end, just being an in-state prospect in Alabama, and Auburn had just positioned themselves well. Now, I interviewed him. He said LSU's at the top of the list coming off the Bayou Splash, but we knew going into the visit he had a decision date set for yesterday. And so when he said that, it was kind of a grain of salt. We mentioned in our story that On 3 had Auburn as the heavy favorite. So sometimes these guys might, make a little bit of a, not to make a pun off the Bayou Splash, but a little bit of a splash trying to drum up some intrigue. And I think that's what happened there ultimately with Anquan Fagans. And LSU has, gotten Jace Thomas. They're in the mix heavily for 5-star Jonah Williams, another elite safety prospect. So they're still recruiting him. And it wasn't too surprising when Fagans ultimately picked Auburn. And that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. The guys try to drum up some interest there late before their decisions. But with Jacob Bradford, he's somebody that has some nice offers to his name over the course of his recruitment. I believe Vandy, a couple other high-profile offers as well. His brother Blaine is an elite safety prospect in the class of 2026. And for LSU, they still need to revamp that safety room. So they've got Jace Thomas. They signed a really nice 2024 safety haul, and they can still take Jacob Bradford, Jace Thomas, and then swing for Jonah Williams, who's going to announce a decision on August 24th. So I really think that's kind of the mindset of it. You want Blaine Bradford, and you can call it a package deal if you'd like, and kind of that end goal being in sight when it came to offering him. But he's also a really highly thought of prospect and versatile too. I think he can play corner, he can play safety, but I expect him to be a safety at the next level. So that was, I think, the thinking of that. And you get him on campus and offer him, and his brother Blaine and him, I believe, are on campus or were on campus Monday for a visit. So that's something to know there is that I think they just wanted to offer him in person with the family all there.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, look, Jacob Bradford is the number one defensive back in the state for 2024. He's just, or 2025. He's just not his brother. I mean, and I don't know that anybody is. All right, a couple more. And speaking of, you brought up Jonah Williams, and Billy Embody's here with us. What's the latest there? Because he was supposed to be on campus for the Bayou Splash. I know he delayed that. So can you kind of fill us in there, Billy?
Yeah, there was actually really bad flooding in Galveston. Pretty well documented bad weather in that area of Houston and Galveston in particular. And so he wasn't able to make it for Friday. He did pop over to Texas the next day, I believe, or somewhere over the course of the weekend. Off the top of my head, it's escaping me when he ended up at Texas. But that didn't really bother some folks from LSU from what I have heard. He is somebody they believe that they're right in the mix for and right in the top two, if not the favorite. And there's a lot of time between now and August 24th, which, as we saw with DJ Pickett, you and I talked about it at SEC Media Days, there he had set the decision. Oregon had a bunch of buzz. Miami was in there. But we kind of said, hey, watch LSU. They had a lot of confidence that they had put the right chips in place to land him. And that is kind of the feeling around LSU, with baseball and football being a factor for him. So I still think he's very much in play for LSU. I don't think they're outside of the top schools for him by any means. I think this is an LSU A&M battle shaping up down the stretch, and it's just kind of weathering the storm of the visits that he took to Texas, and then A&M's going to continue to buckle in and try to keep another ball high prospect in the state, because Mike Evans went there. They have some ties to Texas A&M overall, and we'll just see how it goes there down the stretch for him. But he is the number one safety no matter where you look. So a highly thought of prospect that LSU's trying to get over the finish line and get him into this class.
Billy, I got a couple more for you. Khalil Lockett, we know he's set his commitment date. It's going to be on August the 7th. So it's a week from today, or excuse me, a week from tomorrow, correct? So what's the absolute latest there with the five-star wide receiver?
Yeah, Texas has really emerged as the leader from what we were kind of hearing, and LSU didn't get him on campus for the Bayou Splash, and that was kind of expected. And Texas has been kind of hanging around in his recruitment. He's kind of been a flavor of the week type of guy, at least for recruiting services coverage of him, which he's made visits, and he's been very high on LSU. He's made visits to Florida State or different programs over the course of his recruitment. But I think Texas probably ends up getting him. And after missing on Decorian Moore for them, it's a must that they get one of those five-star wide receivers from Texas. LSU got Derek Meadows. They're still hoping to get Jamie French, the highly touted five-star from Jacksonville. So there are still some receivers left out there, but it doesn't appear like Khalil Lockett's going to end up at LSU, at least right now.
Billy, last thing for you. LSU's going to start fall camp this week. What does that mean for the recruiting calendar with LSU and the coach staff obviously hitting the practice field on Thursday?
Yeah, I'll note this. It's a dead period now, but this is also the last year that there's a July recruiting weekend. So it goes totally dead next year with the tweaks to the recruiting calendar that have been made, which is kind of nice for coaches. They go through the run of camps and official visits in June and, building your class, and a lot of guys making decisions in July. And then to come back kind of after that and have to see, guys back on campus and host them with fall camp. That is going to be a nice change for next year, but it's a dead period now until pretty much September, depending on if you play a game at home the first or that August 30th, 31st weekend. So this really means that they're monitoring these final decisions for the class of 2025 before going to the season, which they'll host official visitors and be able to get out and evaluate players and things like that. So it's kind of that cocoon, so to speak, that you get into with fall camp, and you shouldn't really be worried too much about recruiting outside of waiting to hear those decisions.
Billy Embody on 3, the Bengal Tiger. He's on Twitter at Billy Embody. Y'all give him a follow. Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
All right, be well. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. Last night was at Minute Maid watching Skeens and the Pirates against Bregman and the Astros, and it's pretty incredible. Whether you're looking at the ribbon board on the other side of the field or you're trying to see the BBs from down the first base line that Paul Skeens is throwing, when you can see 2020, actually better than 2020, it's pretty amazing. When you just wake up in the morning and you can see. You don't have to worry about contacts or glasses or anything like that. The Williamson Eye Center makes that a reality for people in our community, across our state, every single day. If you want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, Dr. Blake Williamson and the Williamson Eye Center can help you do it. So call 924-2020, 924-2020, or go to williamsoneye.com. That's williamsoneye.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Thanks to Billy Embody for pinch hitting there for Shea Dixon. Yeah, the Jacob Bradford offer is one. Look, obviously everybody knows that my affinity for my alma mater and Catholic. People ask a lot about Jacob Bradford, and the best, I think, comp I can give you is like the Leonard Fournette situation. And people would ask, hey, is Leonard like Leonard? No, he wasn't. Leonard Fournette was the greatest physical specimen LSU ever had at running back. Leonard Fournette was a very good college player, but he wasn't his brother. So just because Jacob and Blaine Bradford have the same last name and their brothers, it's almost impossible not to compare the two, and I understand that, but understand that if you just look at Jacob Bradford as a prospect on his own, that's a 4-star guy who's the number 11 player in the state, who is the number 1 defensive back in the state for his class. Like, that is a very good player that is very worthy of an LSU offer. He's just not his brother. But then again, no safety in the class of 2026 is. He's literally the best defensive back, one of the best players in the entire country for 2026. So hope you get them both. All right, it's after further review. Tuesday shows powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Sunnyquip.com, sunnyquip.com. Let me knock out a break. We'll go around the SEC. Muse will have the Olympic update in about 15 minutes. We got a ton to do. Connor Binge, LSU transfer pitcher, in 45 minutes. Ross Jackson in hour 3. Don't you move. It's AFR. AF Renaissance Hotel, the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown. Hey, remember, if you're thinking ahead to the weekend, remember, I want to remind you about the Watermark, and particularly the Gregory, the restaurant there at the Watermark. They have a Sunday brunch, which is exquisite. A lot of people love to do Sunday brunch, and you might be thinking, Matt, but I don't want to go downtown, I don't want to park. Flush that out of your brain. It's so easily accessible at the Watermark, and if you're going to eat at the Gregory, valet parking is complimentary. So you're treated like a VIP. You pull up to the door, they valet your car, totally free when you eat at the Gregory. So if you're thinking about Sunday brunch for a special occasion or just after church, think about the Watermark Hotel, downtown Baton Rouge. Of course, there's the Renaissance right there on Bluebonnet. You want to host an event for 12 people up to 500 people, they can help you. It's the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown. Check them out in Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Érase una vez un Infinity, diseñado para despertar tu imaginación y desafiarte a soñar, con 3 lujosas filas de asientos. El totalmente nuevo Infinity QX80 de 3 filas.
began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Over by the gate, Lordy, here she comes with a basket full of chicken and a big cold jug of sweet tea.
After further review powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Of course, NFL camps are underway. College fall camps getting started this week. Quarterback battles abound, and a lot of really interesting ones, of course. Sportsbetting.ag, this dropped in my inbox earlier today. They put out the odds for who's going to be the week 1 starter for a lot of different quarterback battles, both college and pro. I wanted to run through it because there are some that are relevant to LSU and the Saints. For example, like BYU, Jerry Bohannon, who's a transfer, they have him favored to be the starter. Michigan, who obviously is replacing J.J. McCarthy for the defending champs. They say Alex Orji is the betting favorite there. LSU plays Vanderbilt this year in Tiger Stadium, and the Vanderbilt starting quarterback week 1, the betting favorite is Diego Pavia. Muse, do me a favor. Please look up Diego Pavia, because I have no idea who that is, but that might be the guy who's playing quarterback against LSU in Tiger Stadium in November. A Pavia.
Got him.
What you got?
He says quarterback for Vanderbilt. He previously played at New Mexico State.
Okay.
He's from Albuquerque.
Okay.
Where's number 2? 6 foot, 200 pounds.
Has he ever played before?
That's what I'm looking up right now. I was stalling.
You're looking at his Vandy bio?
Well, I was looking at his stats from New Mexico State. This will be his first year at Vandy. So, let's see. Completed 60% of his passes last year for just under 3,000 yards. 26 tuds and 9 interceptions.
Max Johnson, favored to be the starting quarterback at North Carolina.
Heard of him.
Minus 250. How about that? LSU, A&M, now North Carolina. Max Johnson's had a very winding path collegiately. No surprise, but Will Howard, minus 2,000 to be the starting quarterback at Ohio State. Julian Sayin, former Alabama 5-star signee Julian Sayin, who ditched Kalen DeBoer, plus 900. Maryland, Nebraska, nothing really of consequence there. Broncos, the Saints, of course, do play the Broncos this year. Bo Nix, minus 350 to be the starting quarterback week 1. How about that? Like, any surprise there when you've got Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson on the roster?
No, because, where you drafted Bo Nix. You drafted him in the first round to be your franchise guy.
You'd say that, but the Patriots drafted Drake May higher than the Broncos drafted Bo Nix, and Jacoby Brissett is minus 500 betting favorite to start week 1. Drake May plus 300. So I'm with you, but doesn't always work out that way.
Doesn't.
And I actually like giving the rookie kind of like the redshirt year, so you don't wreck them as rookies. But Drew Lock, by the way, is another one. Daniel Jones minus 575 with the Giants to be. And of course, the Saints play the Broncos and the Giants this year. So by the time the Saints do get to the Giants, maybe Drew Lock has taken that job. Or forgive me, what am I saying? Not Drew Lock. Drew Lock is on the roster, but Daniel Jones is minus 575. Tommy DeVito, who played against the Saints last year. Tommy Cutlets is a plus 1,400, by the way. It's our guy. It is our guy. Speaking of which, did you talk about our guy yesterday?
Of course I talked about our guy yesterday.
Excited for that. Raiders, Steelers, Vikings. There's another one, J.J. McCarthy, who was first-round pick this year, plus 250. So the only draft pick with odds here that is favored to be the starter week 1 is Bo Nix. So we'll see how that all goes. But the Saints do play the Broncos, Giants, and Raiders. Gardner Minshew favored over Aiden O'Connell to be the starter week 1. So maybe the Saints play Gardner Minshew this year whenever they play the Raiders. All right, it's after further review. We'll keep an eye on that, certainly as camps move out and all those quarterback battles start to play out. We'll go around the SEC in just a quick second. Let me remind you about Optimize, generatorpeople.com, generatorpeople.com. Y'all, don't get stuck when the power is out. Don't get stuck hot and dark in your home. Call Optimize. Go to generatorpeople.com, generatorpeople.com. Have a Generac automatic home standby generator installed at your home. Literally everyone listening to me. I can't imagine there's a soul listening right now that would say, if I said, hey, would you want an automatic home standby generator at your home? So when the power goes out, boom, the generator comes on, powers your entire house like nothing happened. There's not a soul listening to me right now that would be like, I'm good. I'd rather sit in the dark. No, we all want the comforts of our home. How do you do that? You get a Generac automatic home standby generator from Optimize. And you might think, Matt, I can't afford it. If you got $600 for a down payment, you have $600 for a down payment. They have a financing option to fit any budget. Or, boom, turnkey install, ready to roll. You got cash. You want to buy it in full, you can, just like that. They have their price quote guarantee. Whatever price they quote you is the price you will pay. There's no add-ons, nothing like that. It's Optimized. There's a reason. They are Louisiana's #1 Generac dealer. It's Optimized. Go to generatorpeople.com, generatorpeople.com, generatorpeople.com. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference.
Texas A&M! Aggies start fall camp tomorrow. On Wednesday, Mike Elko gave a rundown of the team's health. Pretty healthy. 2 players worth keeping an eye on. Anai White, a defensive end, still banged up, recovering from knee surgery. They do expect him to be ready for the start of the season, however. And then Jabri Barber, who's a wide receiver transfer from Louisiana Tech, recovering from a foot injury, kind of touch and go at the start of the season.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Dominic Kelly, a 4-star 2026 cornerback target, flipped his commitment from Southern Cal to Georgia. He had been committed to USC since March. That gives the Bulldogs 3 commits for 2026.
The Auburn Tigers.
Don't know if you heard, Auburn had a pretty good recruiting weekend. I don't know if you heard.
Did they? They were.
Did you hear about this? Pretty good recruiting weekend for Auburn.
Might have heard a few things there.
Anquan Fagans, 4-star safety out of Alabama. He committed to Auburn. It's a bummer for LSU. They were really in there in the mix. But he picked Auburn over Clemson, Georgia, and the Tigers. Number 9 safety in the nation. His older brother, Antoine Fagans, transferred to Auburn back in May. So maybe like a little bit of a package deal there. Auburn's 2025 recruiting class all the way up to number 5 in the nation now. Impressive.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Muse, big get for Alabama. How about Kalen DeBoer?
Who'd he get?
Break up Kalen DeBoer. I mean, doing work on that Cruton Trail, isn't he? 2027 linebacker Barack Willis committed to the Crimson Tide. The guy's like in the 7th grade. Look at Kalen DeBoer doing work.
You got to get in on him early.
6'3", 220-pound linebacker. Let's see if he can keep him committed for 3 more years. With the way things are going, I doubt it.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
And a little note there from... sorry, Kibi. I mean, that release point was no good. I almost pegged her straight in the face with that crumpled up ball of paper. Good reaction time, though. That's like if someone was spiking a ball in your face. Ross Kibbitt rejoined Tennessee's baseball staff. He was under Tony V for 4 years there as a volunteer assistant. He's been at Houston the last 3 seasons. He's now the third Vols assistant coach, replacing Richard Jackson, who had worked with the pitching staff. Of course, the Division I Council voted in January of last year to permit coaching staff to have a 4th full-time assistant. So Ross Kivett now heading back to Knoxville. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Thrilled to have you aboard with us here, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Go to sunnyquip.com, sunnyquip.com. I was driving to Houston yesterday. As you're driving along I-10, you get past Lafayette. I don't even know where in the world I was, somewhere, but right on the right, giant, beautiful Sunshine dealership right there. Bunkie and below. You want a John Deere? You want that green tractor, that zero-turn mower? You go to Sunshine. Sunnyquip.com, sunnyquip.com. All right, y'all, let me knock out our final break here of hour number 1. When we come back, Muse will have the Olympic update. Oh, there's people stabbing each other with swords right now in the Olympics. How cool is that? Is that in your Olympic update?
No, it's not. No fencing. It's called fencing. No fencing update today.
We won a gold medal in fencing.
We did, and that was mentioned in yesterday's update when you weren't here.
All right. Well, Muse, I just got to check you. A lot of times you miss things like that.
No,
like there's Olympic volleyball players from LSU that you just refused to mention for like a month on the show.
They weren't doing anything.
Olympic update next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham. Mid-City on Donmore and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. You know where to find them, and you can always get on by and ask questions to any of their very helpful horticulturists. Just find someone in a blue shirt. They'll help you out. If you need soil, bag, or bulk, they got it for you. Beautiful, beautiful selection of flowers and plants, and they fill those greenhouses every single day. Always, always, always encourage you to follow them on their social media. There's the Flash Gardenia. Just loaded those up in the greenhouse. You can check them out and see their inventory there on their Facebook page. So highly recommend you go follow Clegg's on Facebook as well. Hey, remember, of course, they've got all of the flowers and the plants and the trees and the shrubs and all the accessories that you need that we talk about and everything to keep the unwanted pests away. If you want to get rid of mosquitoes and ants and snakes and bugs and all that stuff, they got all you need there as well at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local, Clegg's Nursery.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunnyquip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless you add Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs.
Sexy, it really turns her on. She's always staring at me.
After further review powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Wrapping up hour number one. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Connor Benge, LSU transfer pitcher in 25 minutes. Do you have some interesting tidbits about Taysom Hill, some Saints prop bets for the year? We'll get to that after the top of the hour. But we do this every day during the Olympics anyway at this time. We turn it over to Matthew Gerard Musso, who gives us our Olympic update. Hit it, Muse.
Not my middle name. But
we need to make sure we hit the post better. Like when I'm building up, we need to have the drums, the boom, boom, building up under me. So then the horns are where I hit the post.
We can do that.
So I need that.
We can do that.
So whenever I do this to you, like I'm nodding at you.
I didn't see you do that.
You should watch me right here. Right here.
Okay. Well, I was also listening, for. But anyway, we're burning daylight here.
You can't listen and watch at the same time?
I could, but I was getting the cue and the mark ready.
Guy?
History was made out there in Parish.
Let's go.
The United States women's rugby sevens team.
Bro, how good was this?
We established on the show Monday, States, men or women. So that's awesome. Shout out to Alex Cedric. That's who broke all the tackles, trucked the girl, humiliated her family. And took it to the house.
Boat raced her.
So good.
Like think Trendon Holiday on a kickoff. Just think Jake Hester against Louisiana Tech back in 2007, like where the defenders aren't even in the picture. That's what that was like.
To the swimming pool, women's 100-meter backstroke final. Reagan Smith takes silver. Catherine Burkhoff takes bronze. So a little double medal there for the United States. The Aussies took the gold. Back out on the men's side, 800-meter free final. Bobby Fink, the defending gold medalist, falls just short, takes silver in that one. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. The
Not okay with this.
The men's 4x2.
We're supposed to be whipping foreigners behind and everything.
I agree. Believe me, I agree.
Silver medals.
Well, you're
only
really...
thing out silver bells during Christmas time. Use.
It's a good song.
Bells.
You're gonna hate this. The men's 4x200 freestyle relay team. They took silver. Second to Great Britain.
Unacceptable.
Second to Great
to
Britain.
Who?
Great Britain.
They don't even swim there.
Who took the gold?
It's freezing all year. They don't have pools.
Serbia is currently beating the United States 15-11 in 3-on-3 men's basketball. That's just pool play.
How in the world?
It's just pool play.
Who's playing? You and me? We got Jackie Moon on our 3-on-3 team.
No,
what are we doing?
If we had Jackie Moon, it'd be going well for the United States there. I think
unacceptable.
Owner, player, coach Jackie Moon, and of course pop star.
Are we destroying everybody in the medal count at least?
I'm getting to that. Hold on.
Okay.
The U.S. men's national team, soccer, they beat Guinea 3-0.
Who?
Guinea 3-0
Who?
today. So they advance out to the knockout round. They'll play Morocco in the quarterfinals.
I like Morocco's.
Your medal count. The United States is leading the medal count with 26 total medals. France, your host nation, second with 18. China, 14. Ground needs to be made up in the golds, though, Matt. The United States just with 4 golds. Japan leading the way with 7. So you got some time to go. And I almost negated this, but remembered. Shout out to Simone Biles and the ladies. Gold medal team event. It's the 4th one in Olympic history. They dominated everybody. Dominated everybody. They weren't even close. The final score there for the U.S. women's gymnastics team.
Do you have the final score there?
I had it, and now I lost it.
Wasn't even close. Dominated.
It wasn't.
The final score.
They won by like 17
You're just
points
gonna have
or something
take
like
his
that.
word for it.
They won by like 17 points. It was good. Dominant stuff. 171.296. That cleared Italy and Brazil both. That's the Olympic update.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, Hardy plank vinyl siding. They do it all. And remember, they got that great 3D technology over at Relief Windows. So when you sit down with one of their associates and you want to look at windows or doors or siding, you're not just looking at like a flip book of samples or like a little strip of a panel. They can build out that 3D model to show you exactly what it would look like on your home. The color, the specifications, all of it. It's really cool. Make sure you check it out over at Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com to schedule that appointment. You can always give them a shout at 288-8138, 288-8138 for Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com, where their number one product is always customer satisfaction. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. All right, y'all, Sports Center coming up. Get you caught up on national headlines when we'll be back with hour number 2 next. Stick around.
AFR.
Heading into this summer. Summer's almost coming to an end, y'all. My goodness. If before the summer ends, gents, you're thinking about popping the questions. As a matter of fact, there was a listener on Morning Scone who sent me a video this past weekend of him proposing to his now fiance. Got to go where Louisianians have gone to get engaged for more than 3 decades. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, Corporate Boulevard, right there in Bocage, and in the Mall of Louisiana. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, 9 locations in all. And because they buy diamonds from the finest diamond mines in the world for 9 different locations, because they're buying in bulk, they're going to get great prices that they can pass on to you for the best quality at the best price. And remember, you will always get the Lee Michaels experience. Should feel like a big deal when you're buying a beautiful diamond for her. And Lee Michaels makes it that way. And they have for more than 3 decades. LMFJ.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Simone Biles and the U.S. women's gymnastics team has won gold at the Paris Olympics. MLB trade deadline an hour away. The Orioles, whose rotation has been devastated by injuries, acquired lefty starter Trevor Rogers from Miami for infielder Connor Norby and outfielder Kyle Stowers. ESPN baseball analyst Tim Kirkjian.
Remember, he was second in the Rookie of the Year voting in 2021, and he's been hurt an awful lot since. But the Orioles are taking a run at this. We saw that with Corbin Burns in the offseason. They've lost 3 starting pitchers to injuries. They had to add, and even though some people look at this as an overpay, they had to add another starting pitcher, and they did.
Last week, the Orioles traded for the Rays' Zach Eflin. Bullpen help for the Yankees. They got righty reliever Mark Leiter Jr. from the Cubs for 2 minor leaguers. NFL, Steelers rookie receiver Roman Wilson, who had shown flashes of potential early at training camp, left practice today with what the team calls an ankle injury. Top overall pick in the draft, rookie quarterback Caleb Williams and the rest of the Bears starters won't play in Thursday's NFL preseason opener.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Wednesday, we continue our ESPN Rankum series with my top 5 MVP candidates. It's on Sportsman, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You sue. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. LSU transfer pitcher Connor Binge here in 15 minutes from right now. Ross Jackson 1 hour from right now. We'll talk to Ross, obviously, about Saints camp. Today was day 6 out there in Irvine, California. Of note, at day 6, Chris Olave with a landed awkwardly. Dennis sounds like kind of a little bit of a hip left practice. Here was Dennis Allen on the day as a whole, the second day in full pads for the New Orleans Saints out there in Irvine.
First day, out here being able to work some situational offense and defense. We worked some third down today. I thought, again, this was a day that there was a little bit of back and forth. I thought, early on in practice, there were some plays there, 7-on-7, the first team period. I thought the offense did some really good things. I thought the defense kind of responded and played much better, towards the last couple, periods of practice. But there's been a lot of back and forth between both sides. The thing I've been most encouraged about is that our guys have been, for the most part, executing at a pretty good level and competing extremely hard against each other.
The big story, the standout of the day appears to have been defensive end Chase Young, who made some really big plays. And obviously that's a really good sign for the New Orleans Saints from a guy who's in a contract year and someone they're counting on to be a pretty disruptive force. And Dennis Allen talked about the day that Chase Young had.
He got more reps today. I think the plan was kind of to try to get him about 3 or 4 reps in each team period. So I'd say he probably got around 9 reps or something like that today in practice, which is maybe about a half to a third of what he might normally get if he was taking full reps. But he's certainly a disruptive player, and you can tell the difference when he's out there. And so now it's really about slowly bringing him along, allow him to continue to get more and more reps, so he gets his body in football condition, and then he can kind of make sure he understands what we're trying to do within the scheme.
We'll get more of a firsthand viewpoint from Ross Jackson when he's with us next hour. It's just so interesting to look at the Saints, where in camp for every team optimism abounds. Everybody feels like their free agent signings are going to be great. Their quarterback is playing awesome. They're going to be a division winner, make the playoffs. I mean, it's just how it goes in the offseason. That's fine and good and cool. This was over at ESPN.com, though, and one of their betting content creators put out 3 picks for all 32 teams, and this is so eye-catching. One of them was the Saints win total 7.5, taking the under, and the write-up reads, Dennis Allen is my favorite head coach to fade, so I'll take under 7.5. Derek Carr also does little to inspire me at the quarterback position. I wouldn't be surprised if the Saints actually finish behind the Panthers in the division this year. You want to talk about an opportunity to burn it to the ground, like a burn it to the ground rebuild? Finish behind the Panthers, who were the worst team in the NFL a year ago. And if you finish behind the Panthers this year, there is nothing salvageable. The other two is a season-long prop for Chris Olave over 1,025.5 receiving yards. I like that. Olave had 1,100 receiving yards a year ago, so he was over that number. You bring in Kubiak, and if you keep Olave healthy for 17 games, I agree. I like him over that number. And then the third bet was Week 1, the Panthers to cover against the Saints in Week 1. My goodness. We're all just kind of looking at the way the Saints schedule starts and saying, all right, it's one of those things where you better get that win Week 1 against Carolina, because the way the schedule shapes up for New Orleans is, man, you could find yourself in a really deep hole pretty early on if you don't get that win against Carolina. Because after Carolina, you're at Dallas, home against Philly, at Atlanta, at Kansas City, home against Tampa, then that Thursday night game at home against Denver. Then you're at the Chargers, at Carolina, Atlanta, Cleveland, then you're bye in Week 12. But just when you look at the first 5 weeks, after Carolina, at Dallas, Philly, at Atlanta, at Kansas City, you're an underdog in all 4 of those games. I mean, you could very well start 1-4, but you got to beat Carolina. It's like a sobering dose of reality where you look and say, all right, we're optimistic about a lot of things. We're optimistic about Taliesin Fuang. We're optimistic about Chase Young being healthy and being out there. We're optimistic about Clint Kubiak in this offense. But outside of the black and gold bubble, man, there's not a lot of people believing in this team right now. We'll see. Start to see whenever we start to get an eye on some of those preseason games, how the roster is starting to be built. I do want to talk about Taysom Hill here in just a second as well. Then we're going to get to Connor Benz. Let me remind you about South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com, new and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge, and online at SouthPointVW.com. Get to the website. If you're interested in one of their electric, the ID Buzz, it's the electric bus, the Volkswagen bus. They have 7 that they're receiving at South Point Volkswagen. 7. If you want one of them, you got to get your name on the list to reserve one of them right now. So go to southpointvw.com. There's a little reserve now tab right there if you're interested. southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned. Remember, if you're searching for a new vehicle, if it's on the lot, it's online right there at South Point Volkswagen. I'm not talking about industry stock photos. It's photos of the actual vehicle that's right there on Airline Highway in Baton Rouge. Of course, pre-owned vehicles as well. You can check them out at southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? So, both Dennis Allen and Taysom Hill talked about Taysom Hill's role in the offense this year. And D.A. said that he expects Taysom Hill is going to remain a jack of all trades, as, of course, you would expect. Quote, he's going to do a lot of stuff. He's going to run routes from in line, out wide, out of the backfield. He's going to block. He's going to run the ball out of the backfield. I think he's going to do a lot of stuff. He's going to line up at quarterback at some point in time. I think he's an awesome weapon to have. A lot of people have looked at that and interpreted that to mean that Taysom Hill is still playing quarterback. And I don't interpret that at all. Maybe that's just, if you're just getting into semantics. Of course, Dennis Allen's right. I mean, of course, Taysom Hill is going to line up at quarterback. He was 6 of 11 passing last year. He threw 11 passes. He's going to throw the ball again this year. And it would be negligent not to use Taysom Hill in every way that he can be used. What's really interesting, though, is Clint Kubiak has said he's going to use the fullback in this offense. And why not? He had Kyle Juszczyk in San Francisco, And you got Adam Prentice in New Orleans, who's likely going to win that job. So you're going to have a fullback, and you've had a fullback, and why not? One of the things, though, if we actually go in the Wayback Machine to when Clint Kubiak was hired, one of the first things we talked about here was if Taysom Hill, who isn't a prototypical tight end, which is what Clint Kubiak historically is used, is sort of a prototype tight end, could Taysom Hill be a guy that fits the fullback role in this offense, or an H-back like Kyle Juszczyk? But what's so interesting is I went and looked it up. Maybe this is just a misconception that people have. Kyle Juszczyk didn't really touch the football in San Francisco. Last year, Kyle Juszczyk ran the ball 5 times for 6 yards on the season. 5 carries for 6 yards on the entire season. Taysom Hill had 81 rushing attempts last year. I get it. New offensive coordinator and Clint Kubiak, different system. But again, when you have a guy like Taysom Hill, why wouldn't you use him to do the things that he's shown you he can do very well in the NFL? And for what it's worth, Juszczyk had 14 catches for 119 yards. Taysom Hill had 33 receptions a year ago. So Hill had more than double the amount of catches that Kyle Juszczyk did. So I fully expect, yes, that Taysom Hill is going to continue on in the same role that we've seen him. He's going to line up as a tight end. He's going to line up split out. He's going to line up in the backfield. He's going to throw passes. He's going to carry the ball out of the fullback position, the running back position. He's an extremely versatile weapon who you have to use. And whether it's Pete Carmichael calling plays or now Clint Kubiak, I think they're going to do the exact same. And really where you line them up is just a matter of on that particular play in what particular formation. But yes, saying Taysom Hill will take snaps at quarterback, but defining him as a quarterback is certainly just untrue. If something were to happen, knock on Formica to Derek Carr, and you went to a backup quarterback, it wouldn't be Taysom Hill. It would be one of the young draft picks that would go in and play quarterback for you. The big question is, which of those two would it be? All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a break, come back. Jay Johnson did work in this transfer portal. One of the guys they added is Connor Benge, who's going to join us next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics. You know where to find them online, actionindinc.com. Action Industries, 42 years servicing those 30-some-odd plants up and down the river. And if you're a maintenance manager, a turnaround coordinator, and you're hiring one of those industrial contractors to do work inside the fence, they have to have an exemplary safety record. You don't get hired if you don't have an exemplary safety record. That's number one. In Action Industries, for more than 4 decades, their safety record has beaten the industry standard. And the other thing that they rely on at Action is repeat business. So they've got to do great work to keep getting rehired. And when you've been around for 42 years, the proof there is in the pudding. Look, Action Industries, they know who they are. There are some mega contractors that do these $200 million jobs. That's not Action. A 100-person job, boom, that's their sweet spot, and you're always going to get their very best. If you don't know them yet, you need to. It's Action Industries.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Érase una vez un Infinity, diseñado para despertar tu imaginación y desafiarte a soñar, con 3 lujosas filas.
We ride back and forth till we run out of light. Take it to the barn, put it up for the night. Climb up in the loft, set and talk.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Muse, who sings that song? I don't think I've ever heard it before.
That's Kenny Chesney.
Oh, I don't think I've ever heard of him before either.
Yeah, you have.
Have I really?
Yeah.
Oh, he's the short guy that likes the Saints.
Yeah, it's true. He does. He likes the Saints a lot.
That's right. That's true. Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Sunnyquip.com, sunnyquip.com. Jay Johnson did work in the portal this offseason. Man, we've seen LSU with the number 1 portal class. Way too early, top 25. LSU number 1 in the country. D1 baseball's 8 for Omaha. Got him projected to go back there, in large part because of all the talent Jay Johnson was able to amass in the portal. One of those is righty Connor Benge, coming in from Dallas Baptist. He's a new member of the LSU Tigers, and Connor Benge joins us now. Connor, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are y'all?
Man, we're doing awesome. Hey, I know you've probably told the Gavin Guidry story a million times, but I would, if you wouldn't mind, man, just as a jumping off point for our audience, can you please tell us, as I saw it on Twitter, can you just tell us like what that connection is and what happened?
Yeah. Before I get into that, I just want to thank y'all for having me on.
Of course.
Thank you for the opportunity to do this, and yeah, this is an awesome opportunity to speak to y'all today. So
cool, man.
But yeah, so me and Gavin go back to playing with each other, since we were young, like probably 9 or 10 years old, and we've always played against each other. And our coaches were, good buddies, and they set up a scrimmage on Saturday in Beaumont when they were 12. And so we get out there, we have like a doubleheader, just getting ready for the summer season, that all the tournaments and crazy travel ball things. So just getting prepared for that. And so I pitched the first game and not doing the best, but Gavin Guidry is up there the second inning, and he hits one right back at me. I had to be life flighted from Beaumont. That's where the game was. Be life flighted from Beaumont to Houston, and told that there was, a slim chance that I'd probably make it through the night. And but the Lord was there the whole time with us, helping us along this process of healing and stuff like that. And ended up having a brain injury, a couple fractures on the skull, 2 blood clots on the brain, swelling past the brain stem. So yeah, it wasn't the best thing, but I can say right now it's really the thing that shaped who I am as a baseball player, and just the bigger thing is just the people that I've met along the way. And meeting Gavin and his family, they're very good family friends with my family, and just other people that I've met in Louisiana as well. I've formed great relationships along that, and it's been a huge thing, a part of my life, and I'm super grateful for it. Just gotta we saw something pretty cool though with the story as it continues to develop throughout the years. Seems like there's more and more that happens, and God's revealing more stuff that's all stemmed from this accident that happened when I was 12.
Man,
so it was a crazy thing, but it's also the thing that's made everything in my life so far. It's a pretty cool thing, pretty scary thing, I know, but it's an awesome thing that's happened.
And that's amazing perspective. Thank you for sharing that.
Yep.
Like I said, I'm sure you've told that story a million times. It's probably not easy to tell, but you have great faith through it. Did you? And I'm looking at these pictures that Chas and Tavares posted on Twitter. So you said they brought you to Houston. So that's Texas Children's, yeah?
Yes, sir. Yeah. I got life-flighted to Texas Children's.
Yeah.
Spent probably a week and a half in the hospital. I was in ICU for a few days when I first got there. But it kind of, I got to the hospital in Beaumont, and they did CAT scans right off the bat, and they were like, "This is way worse than we thought it was." We just thought, it got a little head injury, concussion, but it came out to be something a lot worse than it was that we thought it was. So got those CAT scans back, and I was probably 5 minutes later, I was on a helicopter going to Houston.
Man, my son was born at Texas Children's. We spent many months there. It's an amazing place. Like you thank God. You never want to ever have to be inside one of those places, but when you're there, it's just,
it definitely is. It's a humbling thing. It's really something that breaks my heart. It's just I was so blessed to make it out of the level that I was on. My level was the brain injury, stuff like that level, that the neurological side of it, and just as people, the kids that you would be by in their rooms that were right by yours, and it almost makes you cry. It's very, very humbling that I was able to be healed and make it out and still be able to play baseball. Didn't know if I was going to be able to play baseball, but stuck to it, and it's been a beautiful story now. So
yeah, man. Did you ever, Connor Benge is our guest, did you ever think about giving up baseball?
No. My parents, it's actually kind of funny. My dad, he wanted me to play golf after that.
I bet he did.
Yeah, he wanted me to play golf, and at the time I was like, I ain't playing golf. But now it's like, dang, I love golf. I'm a big golfer now. I'm like, dang, I always kind of mess with him by like, dang, I should have maybe considered golf, but
maybe Dad knew a little something. Hey, how did you get? Talk to me about. So when you are recruited, you landed at LSU, and everybody here knows how great of a program that is. How did that recruitment come to pass that you landed in Eunice?
So, it's kind of a weird thing for me. I'm not a big guy at all. You'll see at the games this year, I'm not a big guy at all. But I was even smaller in high school. I was probably 150 pounds maybe. And, I was just kind of undersized, and I knew I had it in me to, be pretty good. One day I knew I had the confidence in myself, but, I just needed the time to develop and, kind of tap into that potential that I had. So chose Eunice out of high school, and it was a great decision. Me and Jeff Willis talk, and we have a great relationship. And Alan Ordain over there, they're great people. They really care for their guys and get them to the next level. And really, I think the biggest thing we were taught was just how to be a man. the first year being in college, it was great to be under the head coach of Jeff Willis, and just hearing what the advice he had on life, not just baseball, just life. And he also taught us how to win. Like I think that was the biggest thing. Like we win at Eunice, so we got to learn how to win, truly win baseball games the right way, and I'm forever thankful for that.
Connor, when you went to Dallas Baptist from Eunice, what ways did you maybe most develop? You taught not just your size from high school to Eunice to Dallas Baptist, but as a pitcher, what ways did you physically develop the most?
I'd probably say this past year at Dallas Baptist, just not a knock on junior college or anything like that. It's a great option for people to, develop, get their feet under themselves going into college baseball. But the resources that you have in Division I baseball is, endless. And I was just able to, keep growing at Dallas Baptist. The people around me were tremendous. They're helping me along the way. From pitching, being a man of God, you're kind of shaping me into the man I want to be. And I think that's where I truly developed into, a better pitcher along, but, it's a year-by-year thing, and I think the most I had was this past year. That was my biggest jump. So,
Connor Benge is our guest here for a couple more minutes. LSU transfer coming in from Dallas Baptist. Was LSU a dream offer for you?
Yeah. I mean, there's a few schools that guys dream about playing at. And, I had a few that I would love to play at. I wouldn't turn down the opportunity to go play at, and LSU was one of them. So yeah, it was it's not too far from home. It's a great school, great the powerhouse in the college baseball. So just getting the opportunity to play here is truly honoring. Very thankful that I was able to have the opportunity to do this. It's the Lord working in my life to setting me in positions. Reflecting back to when I was 12, getting to play with Gavin again, share a field with him, and continue to draw relationships together, and make some friends along the way.
It really is a cool story how it ties together. If I could just ask a couple more, what were your conversations like with Jay Johnson and Nate Yeske about what they envision for you in the 2025 season?
I think it kind of starts out like everybody else. You have an opportunity to be a key role, and it's up for whoever wants to take it. So I think that's kind of where our conversations led. It's open. If whoever is most deserving of it is going to take that spot. So just kind of working to get that. So continue to do that this summer and having a good summer so far, and ready to get to LSU and hit the ground running to do that. So
if I asked you to give me a scouting report on yourself, what would it look like?
Last year was kind of just fastball. To come out of the pen, it was attack the hitter with fastballs. I'm more so a two-pitch guy, but trying to expand a little bit this year. So it kind of the scouting report kind of looks different now. This offseason been trying to add a little bigger shape and a secondary offering. So it kind of is changing a little bit. I think that I'm developing some pitches that are going to be really key for me this upcoming season. So I think I'm going to try to attack the zone, pitch with conviction, and I think that's about it.
Before you go, and I've really enjoyed the conversation, man. Hopefully we get many opportunities to do this in the future. Best round of golf you've ever shot?
It was very. I'd say it's probably a little lucky, but it was a 78 back in Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 78, but I can tell you shooting in high 70s.
Hey, what happened that day that you shot a 78?
I was just the ball was going where I wanted it to go.
Yeah, man.
So
I don't think there's much
one of
luck.
those days.
There's not much luck associated, bro. You're shooting 78. You got a little ability.
No, there's a little bit, but it's I'm not going to blow anybody out of the water. That's for sure. Me and Gavin play quite a bit now, so it's a competitive thing with me and him. So
very cool, man. Hey, this was fun. Hopefully we get to do it again. Congrats on being a Tiger, and we'll look to visit again soon, man. Thank you for your time.
Yep. Thank y'all for having me.
That's our pleasure. Connor Binge, LSU pitcher, transferred in from Dallas Baptist. What a story. I asked the question knowing full well that he's been asked that story and told that story a million times, but aside from the tweet, it's the first time that I've heard it, and I'm sure for many of you, it's the first time you've heard it, and to hear it from his voice and through his eyes and all the detail is pretty incredible. I mean, it's a literal miracle that he's even here, and having the opportunity to pitch. Great perspective from a young guy. I mean, I really appreciate Connor Binge for a couple of minutes here. That was great. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a break. Still a lot to do. Ross Jackson here in about half an hour. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, as we move through the summer, I'm looking right now. It's 95 degrees in Baton Rouge right now. 95 degrees. You know, it's a great way to cool off when it's 95 degrees outside. Let's go jump in your pool in your backyard. Enjoy that backyard paradise. You know who can help you do that? Duplessis Builders. DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. My guy, Derek Duplessis, got his engineering background, graduated from LSU in mechanical engineering with a minor in aerospace engineering, was working as an engineer, pivoted, started a pool company, and is the fastest growing pool company. Did 8 pools his first year, 60 his second year, and now you see Duplessis Builders all over the greater Baton Rouge area. They do all outdoor spaces, pools, kitchens, cabanas. New showroom is coming soon. Can't wait to tell you more about that, but Derek also always says, we will never compromise our building standards to save a few bucks. They'll walk away from a job before they put their name on something that's not their standard. It's Duplessis Builders. DuplessisBuilders.net.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off F-150. $10,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, party plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques, Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Thanks again to Connor Benge. What a story. You missed that convo, make sure you get it on demand. AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. Maybe we'll take Connor Benge out. Play a little golf. Santa Maria, Beaver Creek, Webble Beach. What you laughing at, Muse? People love Webble Beach.
Classic, man.
Oh, Webble Beach. People love Webble Beach. It's a great spot, man. Best round you've ever shot, Muse. Best round of golf you've ever shot.
90.
Paulie, do you play golf at all? No? Kibi, do you play golf at all? No? No? Nobody plays golf except me and Muse. Well, I haven't played golf in a long time.
Best round?
Thank you. Yes. Like, is anybody going to ask me?
Yeah, well, I was letting you finish your thing.
82.
Nice.
Best round ever. I'll tell you this very brief story. Not that anybody really cares. So early AFR days, we had a deal with Ryan McGuire, who at the time was teaching at Santa Maria. And he was giving me lessons. He's a great teacher, by the way. I think Ryan maybe moved out of Baton Rouge, but I think he still listens to the show and everything, but great teacher. And I was playing a lot. I mean, we didn't have Drew yet. Eric and I were young. I mean, like, you're at a point in your life where you could probably play a lot if you want, right? I mean, you can go on the weekends and play if you want.
Depends, yeah, but I play it not as much as I would like, but enough, I guess.
I think that's probably everybody.
Yeah.
It's hard to carve out 4 or 5 hours on a weekend or whatever it may be. And we were in Houston because we transferred care there for 6 weeks before Drew was born, because the whole thing was if he was born here, they wouldn't have enough time to get him there. So if he came early. So we had to be there. And he did end up coming like 2 weeks early. So we transferred care and we were in Houston, and there was a day, it was in 2014, it was the World Cup. And Gordy and I people who've listened to the show for a long time know the banter Gordy and I have. Well, Gordy was basically trolling me and preempted AFR one day to air a World Cup game. I know, you laugh at it now.
That's beautiful.
I know. But I didn't care. I got a day off. So I woke up that morning, and where we were staying in Houston, right in the Med Center, Herman Park, and there's a municipal golf course. Like, right, literally, if you would have walked out of our apartment building, you're staring at the golf course. And so I woke up, went into it's like a Tuesday, whatever day of the week. It was just like a random day by myself, and walked across, paid my green fee, played by myself at Herman Park, and I shot an 82.
Have you ever gotten close to doing it again?
Well, after that, about a week later, Drew was born, and then I didn't play golf for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was like literally that length of time, or maybe I played like a round in the next 2 years. And so I've not even approached that ever again. That'll probably be the best I ever play in my life. But yeah, it was an incredible day. Kind of like what Connor was describing, like where it maybe nothing was like pace of play. You know,
yeah.
I wasn't waiting on other people.
And you were by yourself, so you didn't have a partner.
Exactly. Course was mostly empty. There was a couple of people out there that let me play through because I was solo, and I just shot an 82. I mean, it was incredible. I kept the scorecard. I probably still have the scorecard.
Gotta keep it. It's in my
it's probably in my golf bag still. I mean, that was 2014. It's been 10 years, and I don't know that I like it like everybody. I love to play, but finding the time to play is tough. And then with me having back issues, it makes it even more challenging. But I I've gotten much better at my short game, so I can't swing hard anymore as my back hurts. But yeah, anyway, so it's funny him saying like that his dad wanted him to take up golf. Not a bad option, man. I hear golfers do pretty well.
Yeah.
It's also hard as hell to make it professionally as a golfer.
Very difficult.
All right, it's after further review. If you're on the golf course, wherever maybe you're in a radio studio, make sure you got plenty of Evermore. I love Evermore. Drink Evermore. I'll tell you, one of the bummers about yesterday being gone in Houston was I didn't have any Evermore. So I learned my lesson. I need to go buy like a couple of 64-ounce bottles and take them with me next time I travel. EVAMOR, Evermore.com. It's natural artesian water. It's a healthier option. Of course, Cloth and Nuss, the LSU Olympians, they are spokespersons for Evermore as well. If it's good enough for Olympic sand volleyball players, it's certainly good enough for you and me. It's Evermore. Drink Evermore. Go to Evermore.com. Evermore available at great local retailers. Evermore.com. CBS Sports, two things real quick as we pivot to LSU football. Brian Kelly will speak tomorrow, Wednesday, at the Rotary Club, and then LSU reports for camp. Then Thursday, LSU starts practice. So, and by the way, we got the full schedule. We have full media availability for Thursday. We can go watch the entire practice on Thursday, and then Brian Kelly meets with reporters after. So we'll have a lot of good stuff coming up, and really looking forward to that. CBS Sports has put out a list ranking the SEC schedules, and again, this is just we can look at SOS metrics and all that, but here's the CBS list. Florida, the most difficult schedule in the SEC. One of the reasons why, of course, not many people are keen on Billy Napier keeping his job. Mississippi State 2, Oklahoma 3. What a stark contrast to what Texas is going to face. We'll get to that. Georgia 4. Again, this is most difficult to least difficult. South Carolina, Arkansas, Vandy, Kentucky, Alabama 9. Then there's LSU at 10. So another reason why maybe you look at LSU, and it's weird because nominally, when you look at the games on their face, all the opponents that LSU plays, it's very challenging. I mean, you think about USC and UCLA and Alabama and Florida and Oklahoma. But the thing I always talk about, it's like it's not just who you play, but when and where you play them. And the way LSU schedule kind of maps out, I think both USC and UCLA being down this year, not having to play either of them in the state of California, getting both Ole Miss and Alabama at home. You have Vanderbilt before you play Oklahoma, both those games at home. The when and where you play them kind of works out in LSU's favor. But as we finish the list, you'll understand why a lot of the teams that are sort of favorites to be playoff teams, this is why. A&M 11, Auburn 12, then how about this? Tennessee, Texas, Ole Miss, Missouri, the easiest schedules in the SEC. You want to know why, when we talk about that group of 5 teams that everybody kind of looks at as far as playoff contenders, LSU, Bama, Ole Miss, Missouri, Tennessee, why so many people are high on Missouri and Ole Miss? That's why. I mean, the 2 easiest schedules in the SEC, Missouri and Ole Miss, and then Texas right ahead of them. It's one of the reasons why those talented teams with few questions against a very manageable schedule, why a lot of odds makers and prognosticators like those teams this year because the schedule shapes up in their favor. It's after further review. The other thing real quick, I got a minute. Musil do Tigers and the Pros and wrap up the hour. Brad Crawford, our buddy over at CBS Sports and 24/7, has a boom or bust players list for 2024. And he's got Caleb Jackson on the list. I don't know that I love describing Caleb Jackson as a boom or bust player. When I think of boom or bust, I think of that as like, this is your last chance. When I think of boom or bust, I think high ceiling, low floor. I don't know that I look at Caleb Jackson as a high ceiling, low floor type guy. Sometimes maybe a guy who has had an injury history could be a boom or bust. Like Chase Young with the Saints is maybe a good example of boom or bust potential. He's got great physical ability, but his career has also been marred by injury, so it could be, man, you get the Chase Young of his rookie year. That was the defensive rookie of the year, and it's an elite pass rusher that made him the number 2 overall pick, or you get the injury-prone guy that barely plays. That's boom or bust potential. I don't know that that's how I would classify Caleb Jackson. I think we all have talked about it all offseason and roundly agree. Caleb Jackson is the player to watch, the ascending player to watch offensively for LSU. Nussmeier's been around for 4 years. We're all very confident Kyron Lacy is going to be a 1. Mason Taylor's a 3-year starter at tight end. We know about the offensive line.
Mason Taylor!
Thank you. Caleb Jackson's got 31 career rushing attempts. 31 career rushing attempts. Like, that's the guy who's the ascending guy, the name to know, the player to watch sort of thing. Like, when I think of a boom or bust guy, I think of Trevante Valentine. You remember Trevante Valentine had 2 different stints at LSU, was this like massive run stuffer that was just this unblockable force, but he was such a knucklehead. That may be a kind way of describing Trevante Valentine off the field that he never got on the field. And so just the calculated risk you took in getting him into your program ended up biting you in the T. Hiney. That's a boom or bust, not necessarily Caleb Jackson. But it is so interesting to look at the LSU running game. I know we've talked about it a ton. I mean, Jaden Daniels ran for 1,100 yards last year. Logan Diggs ran for 653. Noah Cain is gone. He ran for just under 200 yards. Just those 3 guys accounted for 74% of your rushing total a year ago. I mean, you only return a total of 689 rushing yards among everybody that's back. So, yeah, like, you need somebody to emerge. And Caleb Jackson's the guy we're all expecting is going to be that guy. Okay, it's after further review. Let me knock out a final break here of hour number 2. We're powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Speaking of schedule, remember that Vanderbilt weekend is when LSU and Vandy is when Sunshine is going to be raffling off that John Deere Gator. It's the LSU Gator with all the logos all over it. You can see it. You can buy your raffle tickets at sunnyquip.com, sunnyquip.com. All the proceeds benefit FFA and 4-H. So go buy your tickets now. You can see the Gator. Condon and I did a whole joyride in downtown Baton Rouge on it a few weeks back. There's a video on their social media if you want to check it out. And, of course, they'll raffle that thing off and announce the winner for the Vanderbilt weekend. So get your tickets now at sunnyquip.com. All right, we'll wrap up hour number 2. Muse will have Tigers in the Pros. Stay here.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Get Gordon and get it done. You know what to do. You can call 888-8888 if you want to talk to a living, breathing human being. There's people there at Gordon's offices all over the state that are answering the phones every single day. You can call 888-8888, 888-8888, or go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. And you can see all the different types of cases that they handle. If it's car accidents or big truck accidents, if it's personal injury, offshore accident, maritime injury as well, workers' comp cases, if it's plant injuries, motorcycle accidents, industrial accidents. They even handle immigration cases as well over at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You can learn more at getgordon.com, getgordon.com, or call 888-8888, 888-8888 for more than 30 years. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction.
Well, she ain't into cars or pickup trucks, but if it runs like a deer, man, her eyes light up. She thinks my tractor sexy.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Heading out to Irvine. Ross Jackson's here in 10 minutes from right now. See how the Saints did. Day 6 of camp. Second day of full pads. Right now, though, Musso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Major League Baseball trade deadline fast approaching. We have some news.
Oh.
Yeah. This comes from Anthony DeComo. He covers the Mets. The Mets are trading minor league relief pitcher Paul Gervais to the Tampa Bay Rays organization for another reliever, Tyler Zuber. So Gervais goes from the NL East now to the AL East. Spent the whole season in AA so far, 22 games, an ERA of 3.25 with 5 saves on the year. Been very successful for Paul, along with 3 wins. See if he can get up to the big show with the Rays now.
Paul Gervais.
Paul Gervais.
How about it, dude?
About him.
How about him? Big tall guy.
Big tall guy.
Weird arm slot. Trey Morgan said it was the hardest pitcher he faced that season.
I remember that. He said that on this show.
Said right there.
Yeah, I remember that. I checked out. Guy ended up having like an ERA like 1.9.
Yeah, it was good.
It was decent. It was decent. Major League Baseball tonight. Aaron Nola going to be on the bump. Facing the Yankees. Looking for win number 12 is Nola. ERA south of 3.5. 120 strikeouts on the year as well. It's been a really solid year.
Can Nola go like 8 shutout and then the Yankees win in the 9th? 1-0.
Could happen. Sure. Yeah, that absolutely can happen. Major League Baseball last night. You want to take this one? Pirates Astros. I mean, you were there.
I was there. The Pirates stink at baseball.
I mean, they won.
I think for 7 innings, anyone outside of O'Neal Cruz didn't even have a competitive at bat. And that was against a bullpen day for the Astros after they scratched their starter. Skeens was really good. Gave up a leadoff single to Altuve, then struck out Bregman. Struck out Bregman twice. Bregman missed a homer by that much.
I wanted to ask you about that.
I thought it nicked the foul pole.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it grazed the foul pole. And then Skeens came back and got him to strike out a second time. Bregman did get a single off of Skeens, though. So both guys did really well. I'm just glad for Skeens that he got off the hook because the Pirates finally pushed a second run across in the 8th to tie it at 2, so Skeens was off the hook. But he went 6 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks, which is maybe a little uncharacteristic for Skeens. But he was awesome, man. It was like LSU night there. Really, like I would say 1 out of every 10 people either had like an LSU hat, shirt, jersey, something on. I mean, it felt like LSU night at the ballpark. It was really cool to see. Skeens got a huge ovation when they announced the starting lineups, which is obviously atypical in a visiting ballpark.
Yeah.
So many people were there, LSU people, to see him pitch.
I love that.
It was great.
Josh Smith last night, 2 for 4, a couple singles, and he did score a run. The Rangers got the dub. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. ISO 17025 accredited services there at Michelli Weighing and Measurement. They love to do business face-to-face over at Michelli. You know, they have won so much business over the years because of the level of customer service they provide for their customers. And you don't deal with inefficient turnaround time or lack of communication. They're fantastic when it comes to those things. They got their Harahan office, also their Baton Rouge calibration lab, 6 locations across Louisiana. Of course, you can go to the website, find the location nearest you. More than 30 different labs across a dozen different states. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. So many people go to the website and realize, oh, I didn't know you did that. Hit the services tab at the website. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Quicker turnaround time, better communication. The track system, which allows you 24/7, 365 access to all of your calibration certificates. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. Michelli.com. Okay, y'all, to Irvine we go. Ross Jackson, Saints Camp Report, coming up after SportsCenter.
AFR.
I know when you look at the calendar and you see July, what I'm about to say might sound odd, but by the time I'm finished, you'll understand. Supper Club is already booking for holiday parties, Christmas parties, work parties, all around the holiday season. You can rent out the entire venue. You can reserve the private dining room. You can reserve a section at Supper Club. But if you're thinking of a way to wow your employees, your clients, this Christmas, this holiday season, how about an event at Supper Club? One thing I know for absolute certain, they will sell out. It will get booked out, and if you wait, it's going to be too late. Supper Club blasted that out to all their members a week ago, and I'm telling you it's going to fill up. So if you're thinking about it, do it now. SupperClubBTR.com.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off F-150. $10,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news as the MLB trade deadline is passing. The Dodgers acquiring righty Jack Flaherty from the Tigers. The Padres got left-handed closer Tanner Scott from the Marlins for 4 prospects. The Orioles, with that injury-plagued rotation, added another pitcher last week, Zach Eflin. Today, they got lefty Trevor Rogers from Miami. ESPN MLB insider Buster Olney.
I think it's an open question as to whether or not they have enough to win in the postseason this year, but at least they give themselves a chance. If they hadn't made a deal, I think there was no chance. Like, at least give themselves a fight. And both these pitchers they added in the last week are guys that are going to be under team control next year.
Baltimore leads the AL East by a half game on the Yankees, who did get some bullpen help. They picked up reliever Mark Leiter Jr. from the Cubs. Royals added infield depth, acquired shortstop Paul DeJong from the White Sox. Yankees righty Garrett Cole, with general body fatigue, will not start tonight in Philadelphia. Will Warren, one of New York's top prospects, starts in his place. Simone Biles and the U.S. women's gymnastics team has won gold at the Paris Olympics. Biles with her 8th medal overall and 5th gold.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance, making it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you'll earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Ton to get to here in 1 hour to go. Let's do it. Head out to Irvine. Check in with Ross Jackson, Locked On Saints. Good enough to join us all throughout camp to give us these daily reports while the Saints are doing workout in Cali. He's on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola. Thanks, man. How are you?
Hey, buddy. Doing great. Glad to be here with you.
Hey, with the Saints now for the second day in a row in full pads, how have or has practice changed at all now that they are full pads?
Well, it's been a lot more physical. In fact, it's led to 2 fights already, so I think that's probably worth noting. But you know what? I love the competition, right? Like, there's a point to where these types of scuffles and things like that maybe cross the line and go too far. That's not been the case here. Cedric Wilson, Alontae Taylor kind of getting a little spicy yesterday. Today we saw it was Peyton Turner and Dallin Holker, the undrafted free agent rookie, going at it with the big body defensive end. And so, look, I think that's a part of what happens when it comes to these padded practices. All the physicalization and all the physicality really gets ramped up very, very quickly. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Again, I don't feel like these fights are of any concern, or I don't even want to say fights, I should say scuffles, are of any concern or anything like that. But I do think that has been the biggest difference out here in practice over the course of the past few days with pads on.
You mentioned Peyton Turner. Anything notable through 6 days?
Yeah, he's actually had a really nice camp so far. He had a really nice day today. And again, look, when I say really nice, I mean he's making plays, right? I'm not going to try to overstate what it is here. But, you know, he got into the backfield quite a bit today. I think the defense really started to catch on to what the offense has installed so far. So he did a really good job understanding, looking at things like alignment, assignment, personnel grouping, spacing, all that kind of stuff to sort of better anticipate what it is that the Saints are doing with their limited offense in terms of what they've installed so far. But Peyton Turner seeing and recognizing all that, I think that shows a bit to his development of the mental side of the game. Getting into the backfield, he had a couple of moments to where he made some nice plays and nice stops filling gaps in the run game. And it had one point where he flushed Spencer Rattler out to Rattler's right side, which allowed DeMarco Jackson, the Saints linebacker who was drafted a few years ago, and often isn't in those linebacker conversations when we talk about that position group, to peel off of his coverage and be able to come down to get a would-be sack on Spencer Rattler. But all that started with Peyton Turner getting that pressure to start things off. So I thought he had a really strong day-to-day in particular.
The guy who has gotten a lot of mentions is Chase Young, which, Ross, I mean, just him being out there at the start of camp has got to be significant. But what materially are you seeing that's the reason he's getting a lot of hype here so far?
Yeah, I think it's just I talked to an offensive lineman who told me straight up, like, he's just different. So I think it's the physicality and the physical nature, the physique, if you will, of who he is. He's big, he's strong, he's fast. And he's taking a lot of coaching from Cam Jordan, adding some hand placement, adjustments to his repertoire, as well as a little bit more of a bull rush instead of always having to rely on the speed and quickness. So I think those are a couple of things that we're watching him work on and continue to build upon, which I think is important for a guy that, was a second overall selection to come to a new destination like New Orleans, or I guess Irvine in this case,
sure,
and be a sponge. I think that shows some good grace, some good faith in terms of who he is and things like that. I think the other thing too is he just understands and reads offenses really, really well. He hasn't been a guy out on the field seeing the new offensive installation and what it is that they've done and things like that. This is really only his second day out there, but you could see that he was kind of one step ahead on certain plays, including an end around to Chris Olave, who was coming from the right side to the left. And by the time that Olave took the handoff and turned the corner, there was a big wall of 99 just waiting for him right there. And so I think that's a testament to him, too, because clearly it shows that he's been putting in the work over in the film room as well.
You brought up Chris Olave, who I think everyone knows by now left practice on Tuesday with an injury. What, if anything, can you tell us?
Yeah, the biggest thing that we know so far is that it was from him landing on his hip. He had come down hard on his hip during the last set of team drills. We don't know yet about the severity of the injury or if he'll be there at practice tomorrow. I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised either way if he was or wasn't there. We've seen him be, the tough guy before. He, had an ankle injury before that New England Patriots game last year, worked it out before the game, played and had a nice game. At the same time, the Saints could give him a 2-for-1 here. They've got a day off on Thursday. He could have 2 days off by only missing one practice. And so sometimes that's appealing in these situations, especially organizations like New Orleans who like to play those off-season injuries, pretty cautiously. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see it one way or another. The thing that they would give them too, if he did have the day off tomorrow after the injury, is an opportunity to get maybe a better look at the rest of this wide receiver room, which has not had the impact that I think many people expected beyond Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. I think they have some big questions to answer there. Could give them an advanced look at that here on Wednesday.
Well, one of the guys everyone's talking about is Mason Tipton. All right. I mean, I get it. It's camp. It's early. We look for guys that stand out. Saints have had a great run of success with undrafted wide receivers. What is it about Mason Tipton that is impressive so far?
Yeah, I think the thing that's impressive is, everybody's going to talk about the long ball, right? He's this great field stretcher with good speed and all that. But I think beyond that, the thing that has been really probably standing out to the Saints in particular is that he's not one-dimensional. A lot of times these guys that are these like camp standouts that don't ever make it onto the roster by the time that it's all said and done, it's because they're one-dimensional. They don't contribute on special teams. They can't contribute in the run game. They can't contribute in the short intermediate areas. They just make big plays downfield. And while big plays downfield are fun, that's not the consistency of what 90% of your offense is made of on any given week. And so you've got to be able to contribute beyond that. And Mason Tipton has shown that he can contribute beyond that. He's run some nice routes. He's a very good route runner, actually. He's attacked the middle of the field. He's a returner. He's been a guy working on the coverage side as a gunner over on the special team side. So he's just making himself available in a lot of different places. And that might not be the sexiest thing. That might not be the most exciting thing, but that's the kind of stuff that really excites an organization about a player.
Ross Jackson, Locked on Saints. Make sure you subscribe to every get podcast or on YouTube. He's on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola. It was probably unanimous, Ross, going into camp. If you asked everybody, hey, what's the biggest question, biggest concern? We all said offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like outside of Nick Saldiveri having an injury, you and I really haven't talked much about the line at all. And I get it, right? Until they put pads on, it's really hard. Anything notable there with that unit?
Yeah, I think, sticking with the tackles, because I think that's where kind of the biggest pieces of conversation are going to be. Taliesin Fuang has shown a lot. He showed this great hand fight ability that he had with one of the edge rushers. I believe it was Carl Granderson. You've seen a good bit of that. You've seen these guys stand up and get to the second level in the run game as well. Trevor Penning today had a fantastic block downfield on a screen pass to Alvin Kamara. Yeah, I said a screen pass.
Okay.
It was back. It's back, baby.
Let's go.
I think that's one of the ones that was probably one of the most exciting offensive plays in practice today. And so seeing Trevor Penning that's his element, right? Like, full speed ahead. Can I find a smaller guy to beat up? Like, that's kind of his game. And that's what he found today, and he was able to take advantage of that. So I think that, like, those are the moments where you kind of really see, like, okay, cool, they're finding it. I think what really helps with Trevor Penning being over on the right tackle side is that he's really relied on in the run game there. Look, he's got to be able to pass protect, of course, no matter what. But not having to be the blind side protector and being able to focus on his ability to kind of be this, mauler in the run game, putting him back in that position, I think that ends up helping him out quite a bit. So I think that's where I've seen, like, the best of these guys. They've lost reps. They've won reps. It's been back and forth. That's what you want to see right now. You wouldn't want to see them dominating or being dominated, and I don't think that's what we've seen so far. So far, so good when it comes to those guys and their development, I'd say.
Day 6 standout? Anybody catch your eye?
Yeah, I think in the most recent practices, there's been a couple of guys. DeMarco Jackson, I mentioned him earlier. He had a really, really good practice today. Not only did he have that sack, but he also had a really nice coverage play over on the left, breaking up a pass. And then he also had a great run stop that kind of ignited everybody over on the defensive side. Got DeMario Davis jumping and cheering and doing all this other stuff. It was great. Jordan Mims continues to make plays. But I really think the standout today, and it's funny because we don't typically talk about this guy as a standout because if he's doing good, he's just kind of doing what it is that you expect of him. I thought Alvin Kamara had a really, really good day today. He had that screen pass where he kind of had to pick apart vintage Alvin Kamara, be patient, let things develop, attack holes, all that. But then at another point, they ended up throwing him a swing pass out to the left, and he went one-on-one with Willie Gay, New Orleans Saints' new linebacker who has been a standout all camp. And Alvin Kamara just put a move on him that just absolutely froze him. And then he was able to run right past. And so I thought that we saw some of the vintage Alvin Kamara explosiveness, vintage Alvin Kamara elusiveness that we haven't really gotten to see. That, to me, was one of the more exciting things of the day, I would imagine, for this New Orleans Saints offense in terms of guys that stood out.
Ross Jackson, Locked on Saints. Make sure you subscribe however you get podcasts and on YouTube. He's with us here to start hour 3 each day while the Saints are in camp. We appreciate it greatly, man. Thank you so much, as always, for the time.
Absolutely, bud. Take care. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.
All right, be well. Ross Jackson. It's after further review. Trevor Penning and Taliesin Fuang did meet with reporters today after practice. I want to let you hear something that Penning said about switching from the left side to the right side. We'll get to that in a second. I want to remind you about Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. Just took the vehicle over there to Houston Quick Trip there and back. If you're hitting the road, you need those tires rotated. If you need your oil changed, whatever it may be, they can help you over at Shaw Bills. Always ask about that Shaw Bills credit card as well. Remember, when you use the Shaw Bills credit card, you're always going to unlock great discounts. And the first time you use it, they give you $50 off your purchase. So, for example, if you're having your oil changed, use your Shaw Bills credit card. They'll basically swipe the card just so you could spend $1. You basically get $1 for an oil change, or an oil change for $1, I should say. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. They're the best. Where, of course, they'll sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices, name brand tires at wholesale prices, but they'll keep you coming back year after year after year because they treat you like family. It's Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills, we keep you rolling. Trevor Penning, meeting with reporters, was asked about how it's gone switching from the left side to the right side. Here's what he said.
It's definitely an adjustment for sure, but from, the moment I figured out I was switching to now, I definitely feel a lot more comfortable. I feel like even going to the left side now would be a little weird. It would be kind of all backwards there. But it's been good so far. Just keep working every day and getting more comfortable with it.
Now, the flip side of it, of course, is Taliesin Fuanga played right tackle in college. Now he's flipping to left tackle. So both of your tackles are switching positions. Here was Taliesin Fuanga.
I don't think there's like a lot to it. It's just knowing your assignment, really. It goes from 9 to 8 and 8 to 9. Really just know your numbers and know what is left and right.
One of the things, remember, we talked to Taliesin Fuanga's college O-line coach and said he's more than capable of playing either side of the line. He would have played left at Oregon State, except that they had a veteran entrenched starter at left, and so he played right. And if something had popped up where there was an injury, he would have moved over to left. Think similar to LSU. If something, knock on wood, would happen to Will Campbell, Emory Jones would kick over and play left tackle. It's very similar in that respect. So physically, you got to feel these guys can do it. Can they catch up in the mental part of the game and in a hurry? Fuanga and Penning, a big story of this camp. Both met with reporters there on Tuesday. All right, it's After Further Review. Tuesday show's powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. We'll knock out a quick break. We'll get to what we learned, wrapping up the show in a little bit. Not sure if you heard, but Auburn had a pretty good recruiting day yesterday. You know I have some thoughts on that. We'll get to that next. It's AFR. AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 95 degrees at 5:15 in the afternoon. 95 degrees. You know that AC is working overtime to keep your home, your office building, whatever is cool. River City's 1 Hour Air is your first call if you have an issue with your AC. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Love sharing 5-star Google reviews. This one from Maria Cascio, who said, Kevin was prompt in responding to my weekend service call. He diagnosed the issue, advised on preventable measures to avoid future problems, completed the work professionally and efficiently. He was clear, transparent with his explanations, and recommendations to me. I truly trust and value his expertise and professionalism. I will request Kevin for every HVAC checkup and service call moving forward. Kevin rocks. How about that? Another 5-star Google review from River City's 1 Hour Air.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless you add Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile bank.
After further review powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Hey, Muse.
Yeah.
How'd the show go yesterday while I was gone?
Man, show went well. A lot of football. Like
A lot of football.
Outside of the Olympic update and Tigers in the pros, everything else was football.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What'd you talk about?
Oh,
What'd
gosh.
you have?
LSU got a pretty good offensive line commit in Jalen Chapman. So we talked about him.
Talked about
Saints
him
had camp.
on Locked on LSU. Shout out. Please subscribe on your favorite podcast app.
Saints had camp. So, we talked a lot we talked with Ross. Talked a lot about Mason Tipton and Chase Young, actually. The Saints had signed 3 O-linemen over the weekend.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I did see that,
we talked about that.
Had some injuries. Shane Lemieux's been hurt. So some guys
Justin Herron's season's over.
Say again?
Justin Herron's season is over.
Justin Herron's season's over. So some guys out, some guys in.
Yeah.
You got to get those bodies
Watch
in.
list seasons. We talked a little bit about that.
Right.
Yeah,
I saw yesterday was Maxwell. So congrats to Nuss and Kyron Lacey, Maxwell. And then the long snapper award that nobody knows what it's called.
Patrick Manley.
That came out.
Award, yeah.
So shout out Slade Roy.
Yeah.
Slade Roy, East Carolina transfer. Was that right, Slade Roy?
No, he's been to LSU for 3 years, I'm pretty sure.
Who am I missing? That was the long snapper that transferred in. I don't know that you're right on that.
I looked it up yesterday.
Did LSU have a long snapper transfer in? I feel like they did.
I mean, look, man. No. Okay. It might have been. Yes. Okay, it was Slade Roy, but he's been here for 2 years.
And where did he transfer from?
He was East Carolina.
Oh,
correct.
No kid.
Yeah.
No kid.
Correct on that.
Can I get a ding, please, for that?
Yeah.
They're trying to correct me out here. Muse, like, I don't know the team.com.
Well, I just said he's been at LSU for multiple years, which, I was kind of right there, too. And then, Bayou Splash, so.
What, are you taking a victory lap for saying Slade Roy's been here for multiple years? Oh, guess what? Will Campbell's been here for multiple years.
He is. Yeah, it's true.
Muse.
That's actually accurate as well. Correct.
Is that all you talked about?
Oh, we had the Bayou Splash recap in there mixed in. Yeah, it's a lot of football, man. Went around the SEC.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What anything noteworthy in around the SEC from the weekend that I might have missed on the show yesterday?
It was really all recruiting. Ole Miss signed an edge rusher in the class of 2025. That get you going?
Oh, good for them.
Yeah.
Ole Miss got an edge rusher
They did.
for 25.
They did.
That's great.
Arkansas got a guy.
Sam Pittman.
Sam Pittman, man. Yeah.
Still trying to build that thing a little bit.
Still chugging along there, old
Sammy.
Sam.
Was that all?
Got to embrace the hog.
Because Muse, I was going to Houston yesterday, and a Twitter notification just for like bing, bing, bing. I just my Twitter notification started pinging.
Okay.
I was driving and like bing, 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 and I'm going, what is going on here? Did somebody get fired? Did somebody get arrested? Like, what happened? Something newsworthy, right?
Yeah, you'd think so with your phone going off like that.
Well, Muse, it started with Antonio Coleman. 4-star defensive lineman Antonio Coleman, who had been committed to Alabama. Not anymore. Hey, Muse, but guess what?
What's that?
At least Kalen DeBoer didn't lose someone to UCF this time.
This time. That did happen.
I don't know the Muse. If there's one place for Alabama to lose a prospect to that might be worse than a little bitty school in Orlando that plays at a place called the Bounce House.
So good.
What might that one place be, Muse?
Oh, I would have to say the University of Auburn.
I'm sorry, did you go to University of Auburn?
I did. Wow. Yikes. Auburn University.
Oh my God, Muse, you're fired. What are you doing? Like, you don't know who Pete Sampras is.
Hanging out.
You called it the University of Auburn. I think you're done, bro.
Oh, recruits can do it, but I can't?
Yeah.
I don't think that's
They're
how it is.
18 and they're really good at football. You're not.
True.
Either of those things.
That's true.
You should know better. The University. He flipped to that cow college, Muse. Louder, Muse. Come on. How many times have we done this?
I'm starting to lose count.
And we ain't even close to being done. Antonio Coleman, 4-star defensive lineman, the number 14 defensive lineman in the country, the 10th best player in the state of Alabama, looked Kalen DeBoer straight in the face and said, "Hey, Kalen, I'm going to the Cow College. I'm not interested in playing at Brian Dennehy Stadium on Nick Saban Field. Not interested in it one iota. I want to go play at Jordan-Hare for a real coach in Hugh Freeze." And that bumped Auburn up to 18 commits, Muse. And you'd think that at that point, my Twitter mentions might get a little bit of a breather, but oh my goodness. My dear friends, no. Nay. Nary a break did my Twitter mentions get, because a short time later, it happened again, Muse.
Again?
Oh, it happened again. You ever heard the name Derek Smith, Muse?
I have heard of Derek Smith.
Did you just hear of him yesterday? Because that's the first time I heard of him.
That is exactly when I heard of him for the first time. He's an athlete, though, right?
7th best player in the state of Alabama for 2025. The number 2 athlete in the country. Had previously been committed to Alabama. Oh, he flipped too, Muse.
Oh, yeah?
Yup. Not to UCF.
Okay.
You know where he's going?
Where's he going?
Why don't you guess?
Is it the university? I'm just kidding. Auburn University?
Not one, but 2 blue chip recruits from the state of Alabama on the same day, flipping from Alabama to that old cow college down the road. Oh, all y'all, you know who you are. All y'all flooding my Twitter mentions all month of July. Oh, Kalen DeBoer's getting this recruit, that recruit, blah, 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 blah. Where are you now? Losing prospects in state to the Cow College. Hugh Freeze running laps. Hugh Freeze boat racing Kalen DeBoer right now. You know how bad it is at Alabama? I got a Twitter account called War Damn Researcher in my mentions. I got Auburn people in my mentions now laughing at Alabama. I got Auburn and Alabama fans using me now in my mentions as a conduit to spew their hate at each other. It's glorious. It's glorious, Muse. You want to know what War Damn Researcher told me?
I do. He sounds credible.
For the first time ever, and it's on Twitter, so it's got to be true.
Has to be.
For the first time ever, Alabama is not expected to land a single top 10 recruit in the state of Alabama. the number one player in the state, Naeem Offord, he's committed to Ohio State. Jared Smith, Auburn. Malik Autry, Auburn. Jacaleb Falk, Auburn. Eric Winters, Auburn. Zion Grady, Ohio State. Derek Smith, Auburn. Jordan Crawford, Auburn. Anquan Fagans, Auburn. Antonio Coleman, Auburn. What name did I mention a lot there, Muse?
Auburn.
Who coaches Auburn?
Hugh Freeze.
A real coach. Get used to it, Bammers. You know it. Congrats, Kalen. Better to lose commits to an SEC school instead of UCF. You know what Coleman and Smith realized? Auburn's got the best coach in the state. A coach that took the little runts in Oxford and won a damn Sugar Bowl with them. Took them to back-to-back New Year's Six games. The runts in Oxford, who literally have a banner in their stadium celebrating a 2003 SEC Western Division championship when we all know Eli fell down. They've never been to Atlanta and haven't won a damn thing of significance since Johnny Vaught was the coach. Single bar face masks, if they had them back then. Hugh Freeze led that team to glory, and now he's at the Cow College. Yeah, by the way, Hugh Freeze, who last year in his first year at Auburn, a terrible Auburn team that Hugh Freeze took over. Y'all needed a 4th and 31 plum miracle to beat Auburn in Freeze's first year. And you know why they got that miracle, do you, Muse?
Why'd they get the miracle?
I've told you this so many times. Because Nick Saban made that damn deal with the devil. And he won 11 bajillion national championships, and he's the greatest damn coach ever. But I told y'all that the day he left, the devil would open up a sinkhole right there at the 50-yard line on Nick Saban Field, appropriately named now, in Brian Dennehy Stadium, and suck the collective Alabama football universe to the depths of football. Hell, that is the debt that has to be paid for all of the years, the nearly 2 decades of 4th and 31s. But Nick's gone. All that's left is old Kalen DeBoer. And all these players are realizing the same thing. Hugh Freeze is the best coach in that state. Talent on that roster is eroding. Looked up a 2025 mock draft. There was one Alabama player in the first round, Tyler Booker, number 29. Vegas has your over-under at 9.5. And you know what I hear all the time, Houston? You know what I hear?
What do you hear?
This is what I hear all the time in my Twitter mentions from those Bammers who are really not liking being mocked by me all the time. You know what I hear all the time?
What do you hear all the time?
But LSU, but LSU, but LSU. Let me ask you something, Muse.
All right.
All the times that we've done these segments, how many times have I ever mentioned LSU?
Oh, that'd be 0.
Yeah, never. You want to know why? I know what LSU is. They're a great program. Since 2003, the only program to win more national championships than LSU is Alabama, and the greatest coach ever, who's no longer coaching Alabama. But this ain't about LSU. It's about it being anyone other than you. And every one of you is coming to that realization right now that it is over. It will never be the same. You all remember Mike Price and Mike DeBose and Dennis Francione and Mike Shula. Oh yeah, you're going back there. I'ma say it again. I'm not telling you you're gonna be bad. I'm not telling you you're going 6-6. I'm not telling you you're never gonna win again. I'm not telling you LSU's gonna be great. I'm not even telling you LSU's gonna beat you this year. What I'm telling you is your days of living a charmed existence, your days of walking into the stadium every single Saturday knowing you are going to win, your days of having the greatest coach in the history of college football on your sideline, recruiting the greatest roster in college football year after year after year, those days are over. And your 3-year drought after this year will be 4, and after the next will be 5, and I can add, so after that it'll be 6, and the longer that drought goes, the more y'all are gonna melt. It ain't got nothing to do with LSU. It's got everything to do with it being anyone but you. And you know who knows that? Antonio Coleman knows that. Derek Smith knows that. And all of the top 10 players in the state of Louisiana all of the top 10 players in the state of Alabama who are looking at Kalen DeBoer and that crimson burning structure and saying, no thanks. I'd rather go to the Cal College. They all know it as well. And whether you want to acknowledge it, you know it too. So flood my Twitter mentions. Encourage me to perform fellatio. What's up? Make all the jokes you want. It's all rooted in your own insecurity because you know it. Every time anything happens with your program, the first thing you do is run to my Twitter mentions. While I just sit back and watch and laugh as the flames engulf your crumbling, smoldering, once proud Crimson Empire. Go to break.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find them. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. One more time. Agent225.com. Or I was called Darren. 335-7666. I was doing the reading. The flames were still behind me. 335. You know what that is? Because when it comes to selling your home, Darren James and Fuego. That's what that's for. 335-7666. Give Darren a call. That's his cell number. You can go to the website, call or text Darren on his cell, or you can always download the Darren James app as well. Go to the app, your Google Play Store, your App Store. Just search Darren James. Download the new Darren James app. You can search properties. You can contact Darren. You get great information on interest rates, on mortgages, on anything you may need as it pertains to real estate. It's Darren James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Brack, your #1 park system in the nation.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Érase una vez un Infinity, diseñado para despertar tu imaginación y desafiarte a soñar, con 3 lujosas filas.
She thinks my tractor's sexy. It really turns her on. She's always staring at me.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Shout out to Will Flake on the text line. I could listen to Hate on Bama for an entire show. 30 hours.
I don't think you'd have a voice. Actually, I know you wouldn't have a voice.
You know how hard it is to do that segment?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Like how physically demanding it is on my voice to do that. It's really hard to do that. The first time ever... when Nick retired, it was a good 2 weeks, right? Before I had my voice back. Daniel Landry on the text line shout out. Said Jimmer Fredette is on USA 3-on-3 basketball.
Oh, okay.
Would love Muse in the Olympic update if we could find some 3-on-3 basketball with the Jimmer Fredette reference so we could bring back Teach Me How to Jimmer.
I remember it.
I mean, that feels like an AFR OG. That feels like that was I don't know when Jimmer was at BYU, but that feels like that was 2010, 2011, OG AFR days when we were playing Teach Me How to Jimmer.
So the problem with that, though, Matt, is they just might not be around.
They lost?
A lot. Yeah.
I don't care.
They kind of got beat up by Serbia, which is just not acceptable.
Is Jokic playing on Serbia 3-on-3?
No, he's playing on Serbia's actual team.
Well, I know that, but I know he's playing both. There's
no,
really
he's not playing both.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, there's not.
Okay.
It was kind of ugly.
Okay. But still, well, then before they get eliminated, let's make sure we mention it so we can play Teach Me How to Jimmer. That would be really good.
Okay.
You can text us 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Ask us coming here in less than 10 minutes. Me, Muse, Paulie, got anything you can ask us. It's watch list season. Today, a couple of more watch lists were announced. The Outland, which goes to the best interior linemen in the country. Will Campbell and Emory Jones, both on the Outland watch list. Interesting, Brian Kelly back in spring, when he met with reporters, actually talked about wanting to feature his offensive linemen in this offense. Give a listen.
This is the year that we really put a lot more emphasis on them to be involved in our offensive structure in terms of schemes. No longer is this about just we got 2 really good young tackles. We want to be able to take advantage of their actual ability in the schemes, and you probably saw us moving them a lot more, pulling them, getting them involved in our offensive structure a lot more. So I think in year 3, knowing that we have 2 outstanding tackles, let's get them involved in our run scheme. And so there's been a lot more pin and pull, a lot more outside zone, and that's to feature both of those guys in particular.
How cool is it that both Campbell and Jones have been so good already to this point in their careers? And Brian Kelly's basically telling you, we haven't even really featured them. There's so much more they can do. That makes you really optimistic, right, about the LSU running game, where you're replacing Jaden Daniels, you're replacing Logan Diggs, you're replacing 74% of your rushing yards from a year ago. That makes you feel like, all right, whoever it is back there toting the rock, you're going to have a really good shot. Of course, Glenn Dorsey won the Outland back in 2007. See if maybe Will Campbell or Emory Jones can become the next. And congrats to Harold Perkins on the the Nagurski watch list. Nagurski for best defensive player. So Harold Perkins can have a great shot at all these awards, man. It's one of the reasons you also take guys to media days is to feature them, to start building awareness around them with people that vote for these things. So Harold Perkins is going to have to go out there and play really well, and as he's bulked up and can play inside, maybe you see that tackle total increase if he keeps the sack numbers and pressures there as well, and LSU has a really good season. You could see Perkins there. I mean, he's looked 3 years of notoriety. A lot of times it takes being known to be able to win the award. One of the examples we always give is Grant Delpit. Grant Delpit in 2018 was the best defensive back in college football. It wasn't even close. But he didn't win the Thorpe. In 2019, Derek Stingley was the best defensive back in college football. But Delpit, who was injured at times that year, won the Thorpe because he was already a household name. He was great that year as well. But 18 was the year where he was incredible. It might be something like that for Harold Perkins as well, where the notoriety, the name recognition may serve him with some of these awards. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Man, had a great time actually in Houston. Was there with Terrio and Richard Tilley and Trent Davis and Joe Morales, our Parish crew. And, man, I tell you every day, do business with someone you know. You know, I say our names of all of our partners with Richard Tilley and Ryan Terrio and Trent Davis and Joe Morales and me. Well, I mean, obviously all of you listen to the show. You're listening right now anyway. But it's almost like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Like everybody in this part of the state knows someone in our circle. So you really do know us. I mean, I'm a partner in Parish and more than happy to help facilitate. If you would like me to help get you in touch with the people you need to, you can always text me on the show text line. You can email me, tweet me. Always happy to help. Do business with someone you know. If it's commercial or residential, roof repairs, roof replacements, no job too big or small. We say that, but it's true. I mean, if it's changing a boot on your roof to help with a leak around a vent, we can do that. If it's completely refinishing and resurfacing a giant commercial building, we can do that as well, and everything in between. It's Parish Construction and Roofing. Visit parishbuilt.com. That's parishbuilt.com. 2 quick NFL notes. We'll break and wrap up with what we learned and ask us. Are y'all going to watch Hall of Fame game? Do y'all get excited about Hall of Fame game at all?
I will watch like the first 2 series, and that's about it.
Then you're out, Paulie. Yeah. Are you in on Hall of Fame game?
I'll have it on, but I won't be.
You're not going to be locked in?
Attention.
Okay. I will be. I'm a nerd. I get it. You can laugh at me. I really don't care. I like watching preseason football. I get it. It's a niche thing where you're talking about who's going to be roster spot number 51, 52, 53. But I'm a little bummed. Caleb Williams is not going to play in the Hall of Fame game. Matt Eberflus has said that. So Tyson Bagent, Brett Rippon, Austin Reed will be the available quarterbacks for the Bears. It's just it's a bummer. It's the Bears-Texans, by the way. I think all this does is continue to underscore, like, why do you even bother with the preseason? Coaches hate it. Players don't want to play. Everyone's just trying not to get injured. And I get it. You have bigger fish to fry, but this also underscores why you're closer and closer to having no preseason whatsoever and going to a 20-game season, which I think is an inevitability. Oh, and by the way, I'd like to congratulate the Atlanta Falcons. Did you see their news today?
I did not.
So the Atlanta Falcons today announced a season sellout of their season tickets.
Wait, really?
Yep.
Oh.
The Atlanta Falcons have announced a season sellout for season tickets. First time in 20 years.
That sounds right.
First time in 20 years. Muse. They've had 6 playoff seasons. They had the MVP and went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And none of that got Atlanta a season sellout. Only this. Signing Kirk Cousins and drafting Michael Penix. That's the thing that did it.
Got to get me some of that Kirk Cousins.
Do you think it was Cousins or Penix?
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
I mean, look, I want it to be that it was Penix because that would just be one of the most Falcons things ever.
Let's try to ask the Falcon fan.
Yeah, the fan. The singular. The only one.
Which one?
I don't know. I don't know any of them.
Bro, Atlanta keeps losing even when they win. They announce a season sellout. Great news, right? Oh, first one in 20 years. They get mocked even when they're trying to share good news. What a disaster franchise. Ooh, I buzzed the tower there, Paulie. Almost got you. Didn't even flinch. That was like when Kobe had the ball. You know, the guy like threw the ball at Kobe's face. He didn't flinch. That's what that was like.
Yeah.
I just threw that thing right over Paul's head. He didn't even move.
He's used to it.
Probably so. All right, we'll wrap up with Ask Us and what we learn next. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by Glow Resources, GLO, glowresources.com. Glow Resources, they are complete employer solutions. If you are a business owner, if you're an HR manager, if you are an operations manager, if you are in charge of hiring and you keep losing efficiency and productivity because you can't find the right people that show up on time, that work efficiently, that do a job in a timely manner. If you just can't find those right people, maybe it's hard to fill roles, you need Glow Resources. Glow Resources recruits nationwide. I've told you the examples before. There's a Baton Rouge company they work with that was looking for an engineer. They found the employee in Florida to do work in California. There's a man working in Amarillo, Texas, who's now a plant manager in Mississippi, was able to buy his first home, put his kids in private school. Hiring the right employee saves you time and money. Glow Resources can help you do that. Check them out online at glowresources.com. GLO, glowresources.com.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off F-150. $10,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
The best kept secret.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down the stretch, we come final segment, Tuesday edition of AFR. You can always count on the brain for zingers. The brain, Brian Haldane, former producer of AFR, host of Mornings with Brian Haldane on Talk 107.3 FM. There it is. Don't look past the advantage of the sellout for Atlanta. It's like starting every home game being up 28-3. Get a little golf clap for him?
Sure is.
Can we get a little golf clap for
Sure
him?
is, isn't it?
It was really good. It was really good, Brain. Thanks for listening too, Brain. I appreciate it. For listening to us instead of your station.
I mean, look.
Sorry, not sorry. All right. We got like a minute. Because I went really long with Bama is burning. I didn't intend to do that.
Worth it.
I think so.
Yeah.
Paul, are we going to get Bama's burning up on Twitter? My my Twitter mention, it's just not even, like, being on Twitter is just such a disaster for me now because all of my Twitter mentions, it's literally probably 9 out of 10 tweets are Bama fans and Auburn fans. It's Auburn fans giving me ammo to crap on Bama, and Bama fans just telling me why I'm the worst human in the world. Which is a weird place. I never thought that that's the place that I would be. And sometimes things happen organically. Like, we didn't plan, did we? Like the Bama is burning thing?
No, it happened once, and then it was just awesome, so we kept doing it.
I know. It's so good. What did you learn today, Muse?
I learned that Diego Pavia plays quarterback at Vanderbilt, and is probably going to be their starter.
Yeah, we'll see if he's still the starter when they come here in November. That'd be something. Paul, you learn anything today?
I learned that Musso thinks Auburn is called the University of Auburn.
Well done, Paul. Well done. What did you learn, Matt? That was good.
The U.S. won a medal in rugby. First ever. Let's go.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you are thinking of buying land, your first call, your first option always is First South Farm Credit. Since 1916, for more than 100 years, our friends at First South Farm Credit have done one thing: help Louisianians buy land. Now they've got branches all over Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, and they can help you buy land in any of the contiguous 48. So if you want to buy hunting property in Texas or Mississippi, maybe you want to buy a ranch property in Montana, they can help you do it at First South Farm Credit, and you're doing business with people in Louisiana. Like so many people in the New Orleans area have moved to the North Shore. You want to buy that piece of property, the 20 acres, the 100 acres on the North Shore, build your home and commute into the city, they can help you do it. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthland.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.